Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
This is the Cobra Katrina Creed, and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast.
Welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I'm full of piss and vinegar, so be prepared. I don't know what's going to come when I answer these questions, but I'm Mark the Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. I just come from a basketball game, which turned into a rugby contest.
You know, I didn't realize you were calling it on the streets. Just calling the game on the streets. Pickup game in snow? Wild.
A street, essentially.
Might as well have been calling a hockey game at that point.
Listen, I know we have fans, and if you put two and two together, because you know me personally or whatever, but goof, good Lord, I'm glad it's done. It ran long. In the 40s, fouls were one team compared to 12 on another team. And I'm not saying one team should have won or one team should have lost, but piss poor coached across the board. I'll leave it at that. And I won't play any more games after that.
Very disciplined. It was a very disciplined game.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my God.
Listen, maybe a quick show, we don't know. We always say that, but shit happens. But I want to calm down. I want to get into wrestling mode because we've been waiting for this for a couple weeks now because it's one of our favorite shows. We love when you guys essentially direct the show for us. So we're going to get to do that out of the way rather quickly. Not a 45-minute intro that you're normally used to. So tell me about your week a little bit.
Oh, my God. This week has been fast, busy, not as chaotic as usual. I think it's kind of calming down, kind of taking a step back. I will say Wednesday night, I got home and I sat on my couch for 2 hours with music just playing and just mindlessly playing games on my phone. That's literally, like, I don't know how to describe it.
Is what we call that.
I rezoned the whole mind because it needed to just shut down. I hit a wall, I think 10:30 Wednesday morning, and it was like, all right, I'm done. I need to reevaluate my life at this point. What's happening today? And nothing bad was happening. It's just one of those things where I think is finally getting back to work for 2.5 full weeks, and it finally just was like I tapped out. My brain just tapped. I'm good. I'm very much can be very introverted sometimes, and sometimes I just need to kind of cut it all down and just be like, okay, shut it down. We'll regroup, reboot. We'll be fine the next day. And it was. So that's been my week. It's kind of just pushing through that. How was yours?
For yours, not a bad week then. Essentially, you just had that shutdown day that I take on. Mine is now Saturdays. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you don't think there's not going to be power washing tomorrow, you're crazy. Or today, as you guys are listening, you're crazy because it definitely needs to shut down. Cold and hectic is the two words that I would use because games, delays, cancellations, movements, Next week I had a full slate of games talking about this coming week for you guys. Now it's gotten heavier because they're going to try doing some double games because we're a month away from like the local playoffs and stuff for basketball, but it's usually heavy by then anyway to keep games fresh, essentially. Yeah. Beginning of the year, you play 1 or maybe 2 a week. End of the year, you're playing 3 or 4. Oh, well, shit. Now we're in a bind because we've had snow days and negative 15 degrees down here, so they're canceling games, and they're piggybacking them. Oh, you're in town and you're in town? Cool. Only varsity games that day. You in this, and it's almost turning into a tournament, essentially. So, and we're covering everything. So,
that sounds ridiculous.
But it's the crunch of the schedule, and I understand it. Because you don't want the kids to have 6 games in 1 week. That's too much.
Yeah, that's excessive at that point.
So, yeah, we'll get through it. We'll cover what we can. And, yeah, I mean, that's been my week. On top of, I've already had 3 podcast interviews essentially set up for next week to have them spaced accordingly because wrestlers have schedules too. And they're like, hey, I know you're going to record this a couple weeks ahead of time, but I'm on the road, this, that, and the other. Can we record here and, pre-record like we do? Yeah, that's a great idea because then I'll have all my podcasts set for essentially a month for the spotlights, which is nice.
Yep.
Basketball. It's 22 days until spring training, by the way.
Yeah, it felt like you're counting that down. Are you ready for that?
I only looked it up today. That's the only reason why I know it's 22 days. And it's fluctuating anywhere from 22 to 25, depending on when your team goes. But yeah. Am I ready? I don't know. I don't know. I'm ready and everybody's like, Mark, you take a break at least once a week. And I'm like, I do, but I like a no sports break once in a while. I don't think it's going to happen for me again because there's some teams around here that are going to go deep into the playoffs and roll right into softball and baseball and Legion baseball. So, yeah. But as you always say, I do like it crazy. But sometimes it can get
too crazy.
Yeah. So.
I get that.
Other than that, that's my week. Not bad, not good. Just
a week.
A ball of fun is downing a Yingling like no.
You were chugging that Yingling. Honestly, I wish I had a Yingling in this house so I could chug it. I have beer in the fridge. I'll probably pick it up during the break, but it's all heavy beer. I got a lot of heavy holiday beer.
It's later than normal, folks, so we don't want heavies tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, don't really want to crack open that 11% beer right now. So, From where?
When I was up. I'm kidding. I
know. No. This was, I restocked the 11% with Mad Elf. Yeah, it was I did get it when you were up here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Holy shit. God. Yeah. Well, I still have Pumpkin in there and Warlock from fucking Halloween too. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, whatever.
It's always good to have flavors of festival or festival flavors in your fridge.
Yeah, yes,
I've been going through them a lot recently.
Yeah.
But, so the only thing I want to talk about non-wrestling, did you see the date was released, but it's not released or it's not confirmed, but it's not to be the date, but da-da-da-da-da?
Yeah.
Maybe July 12th?
Maybe July 12th, maybe not, who knows?
And like everybody that's leaked stuff, all like the big people on X and da-da-da-da-da, have essentially confirmed it through schools because they've worked. Once the schools get it, it's an open class or an open whatever the hell they're calling it that you can know because it's at a university, and university is like open knowledge to everybody essentially. They're the ones saying it. EA is the only one not confirming it, and people are like, and if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, God, we've been talking about this for 18 months. It's NCAA football for all the PlayStations and Xboxes and stuff. Why isn't EA confirming it? That's my big question this week on Ask Can Crushers.
Well, and that's the thing. I didn't understand why EA didn't say anything during the national title game or anything like that. Like, you had big premium college events to release this information during, and you're not doing it, which is, I think, a lot of causing some heartache and some people thinking maybe it's not coming out this year.
Saw that.
So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't pull the trigger this year. Because of everything they're trying to do with, which is great, the environment, the stadium renders, da-da-da-da-da. They just can't get it sorted out.
Shit. Absolutely lose my shit. And I understand it. But I thought EA did confirm at one point, they said summer of 24.
They did say that, but again, they also said summer of 23. It's been pushed before.
Line up the shots. Anxiety's stepping in right now.
It's one of those things where we hope for the best and hope it's coming through.
If it's another year, my God, there better not be a flaw in it at all. Because then people like me will just criticize it.
If it's another year, they have to have everything that is wanted. I know they already have Dynasty, Road to Glory. I think they have an Ultimate Team for some ungodly reason. And then, I don't know what other features, but create a school, something else. It better be pristine, very polished, very good. Mascot mode, let's play games as mascots.
Yes.
Get it all in there.
I wonder this because I've stepped into playing a online franchise with somebody. And it's not bad. I did take my first loss last weekend, and I kind of pouted, and I said, well, that's probably it for the day. And somebody was just poking me. We'll get to the name shortly. And we're set to meet in the Super Bowl. I mean, we're only in like week 9, but we don't play regular season, and we were both killing people, yada, yada, yada. So we stepped it up to the next level. Once we stepped up to that next level, I did some stupid stuff. I got down by 10. And Nathaniel Cunningham of the Bad Fellas continues to win, and I took a 10-point loss because I couldn't bounce back from that 10-point loss to the Rams. By the way, we drafted everybody. We,
Yeah.
So I'm the Steelers. He's the Commanders, right? Did you ever hear of a Commander fan in the world? No. But we're on set to meet in the Super Bowl. Well, he's now bragging he's going to be undefeated going to the Super Bowl, and I'm probably going to have, I do have the one loss. So I digress about all that. What we were talking about is there better be an online dynasty mode then. Because I said, imagine me with Pitt. I believe he's a Penn State fan. He's going to throw me under the bus now. And then checking you with Oregon.
Yeah.
And then maybe like Donnie Bambino or wrestlers that we personally
right.
know. We get, I don't know, 5-10 of us to play this, in our slow lives that we have. Imagine a dynasty like that. Is that something that is possible? That would be so much fun.
Wouldn't it? I mean, look, I think they can do up to 32 in Madden, right?
Yeah.
Online. There should be no reason they couldn't do at least 32 teams. You can be 32 teams. It'll be the entire college football network or division, but that would be fucking ridiculous.
And we have to play it week by week. Somebody's a commissioner. We'll vote you as commissioner. So
yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So we start week 1 on day X, but for your week, you have to play it by the following Saturday.
Yep.
And then we advance the week, If we can play a couple games whenever throughout the night, hopefully, that's why I don't want to have it 32 people. 5.
Yeah, 5 is fine. 5 or 10. 32 is just, I'm just putting out numbers because of what it was.
No.
But, yeah.
Well, that would be a blast. That maybe we could knock off 2 games a week with 5 of us if we, all right, whatever. Hey, I played the last game this week. Please advance it because I have time tonight. So I'll play my week 2 game. You'll play week 2 the next day. Because we can all play at the same time, essentially.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I hope that's something because I'm now hooked on this whole online, and I know it's been out there for a while. I just never played it because, listen, I don't want to play against a kid that plays 18 hours in his mom's basement. And I love kids like that because they listen to the podcast, but I'm not that good. I'm good enough, or you're good, or da-da-da-da-da. It's about all of us making it there. It would be awesome. If we have 5 people, we're all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, a pit schedule is going to be rough to get into the top 5.
Yeah.
Oregon's not. Penn State's not. Say we get somebody that's going to be Tennessee. Somebody, maybe their goal is only to win the MAC. So we're going to have somebody playing as Buffalo.
Yeah.
We'll never play them. But it would still
sign them up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What I would also say is we'll have that kind of dynasty. At some point, I do want to try a dynasty where everybody's bottom feeder, or you're in a just starting out Sun Belt motherfucker or something.
Yeah.
And just build yourself, if you can, to be a fucking powerhouse somehow. That would
Those are my favorite ones.
I love doing that.
As bad as in the teams that I've named, Pitt's the worst team, right?
Yeah,
Pitt's the worst team. But yeah, we're all maybe say we go to 6, 3 go to the Sun Belt, and 3 go to the MAC.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Oh, it would be a blast. Be absolute fucking blast.
When you get it, we're at least starting that.
I think we have to. Yeah, I think we definitely have to.
Yeah. If it's whatever, we'll figure it out.
We got this.
Yeah. In July we can start this.
July 2025. KK.
Listen, I want to get into the questions. Do we want to do a quick recap on wrestling, things that we like this week, things that, we have a couple of topics. We can do a quick recap in week 2. Jesus.
Yeah, in week 2 we can do a quick recap, nothing too crazy. But, we can do that. A couple hot topics. Dark Side of the Ring, season 5 was released.
Yeah.
If you haven't
6 episodes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 episodes.
Confirmed
so far from, Wrestling Observer. If you haven't seen them yet, they are centered around Kurt Angle, his past drug and alcohol addiction, Brutus Beefcake, Harley Race, Buff Bagwell, Chris Adams, Sandman, and Black Saturday. And that's when Vince McMahon purchased Georgia Championship Wrestling to get the TBS time slot.
I'm interested in all of them. One is Black Saturday. I was young. I remember it. You can find it. But I want to get their side of it and all of that. So I'm excited on that one.
Yep.
In the other one is Harley Race, just because.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 that I watch them all. Trust me, I DVR them. I make special time that nobody's in the house when I watch Dark Side because dogs go out before. And then that's it. Dogs
and then you finish it
an hour later.
Oh boy.
Would you? Is there a couple that you're really jonesing for?
Yeah, the Kurt Angle one. I think intrigues me. Obviously, my childhood growing up, but it's not the A&E version of the Kurt Angle story. It's people close to him, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Also, if they get Kurt to kind of talk through it, that would be interesting to see it. I'm intrigued by Black Saturday because I don't know too much about it. I know it happened. I knew it was a thing, but I don't know too much about it, so hearing about it I think would be pretty cool. And I'm interested. I want to know what the Buff Bagwell one is. I think I have a speculation.
It could go down a bad path.
It could go down a very bad path. So I think that one is the other one that it's like, what do we do? Is it the entire career? We're going to get deep into that horrific WCW Nitro thing that happened on Raw where he was the main event. It went south, and he got fired essentially right after that. I think that one's going to be a pretty good one in its own right, just because of the timing and all of that stuff. So
yeah, if there's one on there, Beefcake. It's there, and I'm going to watch it, but
I don't know what they're going to go with Beefcake. I don't think it's not.
Right.
It's not intriguing, right? Because I think he wasn't as.
He was
and it could take us by surprise. He's not going to be. He was never a star player, but I don't think he's had that colorful of a out of ring. Besides
his wreck.
Besides his rack, yeah. So maybe it centers around that and a little bit of going into that, but hopefully not the Zodiac. And Sandman, I can only. And Sandman, I could probably tell you what the Sandman one is going to be, but. Yeah.
Especially after reading Todd is God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you have a little more insight on that one right now.
By the way, I owe this to Vinnie Barry. The new Black Bart book is officially out. And I said that I was going to cut him a commercial. I spoke to him Tuesday before all hell broke loose in my life. So I have to produce a commercial for him. So that'll probably be before I pressure wash tomorrow. But I do want to give you, because I have some notes. I talked to him a little bit.
Priorities.
Not going to do a full interview like this one, as he said. But here's what I came up so far. So new book out. It's available on Amazon right now. His website is destroying something. I don't know. He's got some bugs in it or something. But he's got it on Amazon already. So if you're looking for Black Bart's book, go to Amazon, type in Black Bart, and it'll come up. Take a journey through Black Bart's life and his wrestling career. After 3 decades of pro wrestling, Bart has done it all. Read the stories, humble beginnings, how he broke into the business, plus stories involving Dusty, Dick Murdoch, Sam Houston, Mr. Fuji, the Von Erichs, Bruiser Brody, Ron Bass. Learn about his time in Mid-Atlantic, Georgia South, Mid-South, Florida World Class. Find out what Dusty offered him to be, and it kind of turned down. It's unbelievable. And then some storytelling, like Sam wrote some stuff, Sam Houston. The foreword is by JBL. So It's a hell of a book. It's one of his bigger books that he's done so far. And if you're interested in it, check it out on Amazon. It will be available shortly on WrestleVille Podcast on his website there. He also wrote, just so everybody knows, a couple wrestling stories where it's like a conglomerate from everybody. And then he started with Lance by Chance about the Von Erichs. So that's kind of a lot that he's been doing over the years, but really help support him. And just to let you know, proceeds to this is going to go to Black Bart for some health conditions he has and everything. So, Vinny, our friend over there, isn't making anything off of this. I'm going to be blunt with you. That's exactly what he told me. Everything, proceeds, portion of proceeds, whatever, is going to go to Black Bart and, help him with some stuff that he's going through.
That's fantastic.
That was almost well written, wasn't it?
It was very well written. It was like you read it off of somewhere.
Now I have to add that into music and yada yada yada. But yeah, I was going to play it during this one, but like I said, we talked. I have to reach out to him and say commercial's coming Saturday, so it's not going to make Saturday's show, but we'll be playing it for a while. So just so you know that, and make sure that really go to Amazon right now and buy this book. So I didn't get mine yet. The MFer sent mine out late, but it's coming, he said. So maybe by next week, I'll be able to give you a little more bits and pieces. So
no wonder he didn't do the recording yet. You don't get the book, you don't get the ad. A hostile thing.
So that's my hot topic real quick. But you have another big one, and it's huge. And it was posted yesterday kind of on Can Crushers, so run with it. And it's scary. It's crazy.
It's WrestleMania time when, people think you thought hindering Jinder the karma would have been fine, but apparently it backfired and took out Seth's leg a little bit. Torn MCL, torn meniscus. There's timetable reporting going on out here, whether it's gotten from 4 to 6 weeks, could be longer, could be shorter. It's leaving a lot of possibility out there of what does WrestleMania do? What happens at WrestleMania now? Is there things that need to happen in the short term versus the long term? There's an announcement on Monday from Seth. There's a lot going on here.
Well, not only WrestleMania, and get ready for Hellstorm 1, because one of the family members is coming home shortly. So be prepared for that. But not only WrestleMania, Jenks, about Seth. Seth is not now going to be on Rumble. There's no possible way in a week from now he's doing anything on Rumble. Not that we knew if he was going to have a match or whatever. Torn MCL or just meniscus or whatever is being reported, there is time off. Maybe he doesn't go to Perth. Maybe he's on the shelf and he struggles through a Mania something.
Yeah.
This changes the aspect. I pre-recorded with our buddy Ryan Mosley earlier this week as well.
Yeah.
For like his Rumble predictions, because that's coming out next week on the Final Count. But this is my favorite time of year from now until WrestleMania, because there's so many things going on. And we didn't know this prior to recording, so we've made these predictions of what's going on. Told you. Max is welcoming Ethan home. We don't know. And now Seth being on the shelf, all right, how are we going to get something to Punk now? Or what's going on? It's crazy.
It leaves a lot of windows of opportunity here now. If Seth's out for a long period of time, which they might not know yet, or they probably have a good idea right now, does the title need to get dropped? Does it go to? Is there a cash in during this announcement now on Monday, or do we start playing the game of maybe the winner of the Rumble gets the world title? Maybe the winner of the Elimination Chamber next month gets the world title. Because if they even think Seth is going to be out months instead of weeks, this is a whole different ball game going on here. Between whether it's in Perth, Rumble, Tampa, whatever it is, a lot of moving parts here for going on. So it's going to be interesting to see what's said on Monday during Seth's promo. If the title gets taken off of him, let's say on a cash-in next Monday night,
he's not back for a while.
He's not back for at least 6 months or until after Mania.
Yeah. How do we build up, and I'm being a dick, stirring it, how do we build up Punk against Priest then?
We don't, because we never get the opportunity. This is going to get put up. My prediction right now is if Seth's out for a long period of time, they won't cash it in because he's obviously can't be touched. But
unless it's a knockout.
Unless it's a knockout or something, yeah. But I think they put it up in the Rumble. I think you just say whoever wins the Rumble wins the title at that point. It's there. It's a week away at that point. Pull the trigger. And then Punk wins it.
Punk's the champion.
Punk drew
it's not a main event then.
No.
But it's probably built into Punk's contract.
It has to be
soon.
They could make Punk Drew a main event in 2 months' time. The heated exchange they've already had with each other puts them on the right path. Drew's never been, on that one, but Drew's never fallen, he's fallen out of the main event picture, but he's not discredited as a main eventer. So if you put him in the chamber, steamroll the chamber, he comes out on the other side, you can build that up to being a Punk Drew main event night one. Unless, you know what, Rhea and Becky is there. If that's it.
Yeah.
But how do you, it's a business thing. You were talking about built into the contract earlier for Punk. If that's one of his things coming forward.
It doesn't matter who he's against then.
It's got to be a main event. So you have to make sure you have a main event level talent to face Punk.
Insert Brock Lesnar.
I mean, Punk didn't mind working with Brock before. Well, I'll go out on a limb. Insert Gunther. But he would have to lose.
That's a lot of build. Not being mean, that's a lot of build.
I get it, but that's an option.
Yeah.
Well, I'll throw it out there. There's a Rainmaker just hanging about. Not going to be doing much at the end of January now.
Yeah.
And his top three candidates are in the Americas, and two of them, one's WWE, one's AEW. It's who's throwing the money.
Yeah. That's huge.
I have a fantasy booking for that one, but that's an option, if you will.
It is. It is. Could we get to Punk Cody? Isn't there a little build in there? I know Cody was gone, a la Punk's return, yada, 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 but man, they were both in AEW. They both probably wouldn't piss on each other.
Both in AEW, both have kind of chirped a little bit at each other. Punk at least did with finishing his story or want to talk about, so could do it. But then you're telling Punk he's got to lose.
You're not finishing a story.
You're not finishing a story, but you'd also say if you wanted to try to finish a story, you'd have to have Punk lose in the main event, which I don't think he signed up for.
Right. I know. There's a lot of moving parts. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable with one, and it happens all the time. It does. And I'm not saying it mean. It happens all the time in wrestling. One injury, oof, we've just lost one of the biggest matches in Mania now.
The one I remember is WrestleMania 32. I remember just was plagued with injuries beforehand. There were so many people that were supposed to be in it. They got injured. Like the one just popping into my head now is Bray. He was supposed to face Brock, injured his back, could not face Brock. And then we had that whole little mini thing with The Rock kind of thing happening. I also lost a six-pack on that because he was supposed to wrestle at WrestleMania and he didn't. It was bullshit. But it's one of those things where you kind of just have to pivot. And I think Triple H has at least done what he needs to do to put them in a right position here of saying, okay, let's pull threads across the board. Here's our main thread, but we have four other ones that if one goes down, we can pull on one of the other ones and make it kind of work. So
the other thing I want to bring up before we beat that too, because we'll be beating that for a while. Dave Meltzer said earlier this week, they're not sure which way Roman Reigns is going for WrestleMania. Everybody, you can take Meltzer's stuff however you personally want to take it. He's in the know more than us, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no possible way they don't know 2 months, 2.5 months prior to Mania which way Roman Reigns is going. You just had... You don't say this, and I know you're going to say, Mark, you guys already talked about this, but because he's stirring the pot just like I do, The Rock doesn't say he's going to sit at the head of the table if that's not the way they're going. So I don't know why he said that. Like, I know it's a stir the pot. Maybe it was a slow news day that day. I don't remember what day I put it out there, but I know I put it out there. They know.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Stephanie said everything's booked a year in advance. Now that I call bullshit, but.
Well, especially during the old regime, that was utter bullshit. This one, there's long-term storytelling where you could pull on a thread that's a year in advance and just say, oh, well, they had an interaction, so this will work perfectly for it. To your point, 2 months out, Roman knew what he was doing at Survivor Series, and Dwayne knew what he was doing at Survivor Series. I guarantee you, they both knew if it's them, they knew about it Survivor Series night. Which then begs the question, do we finish the story in Perth? Because I think you take the title off both of them.
Yeah. But he's not going to Perth.
Roman, true, but money talks.
Roman, we really need you to go to Perth now. Our WrestleMania has just been, not all of it, and I know we're blowing this up a little bit because it's only, I'm not saying it's only one match, but it's a big match. We've all predicted. Roman, shit. Something has to, here's an extra $1 million or whatever. Please go to Perth to finish the story now.
Yep.
Then you have Rock, then you have your 6 months off. You come back and you win it right back. Whatever you need to do to negotiate now. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
That one went down amazing, by the way.
That's a good thing. You needed it. I'm trying to... Roman go to Perth, or somebody's winning this Fatal 4-Way that's not named Roman Reigns.
Right. I know. We'll get there. Listen, we're gonna dance around Royal Rumble predictions probably all show, but that's next week's show.
Yeah, we need some potatoes for next week.
Yeah.
So,
do you have anything else hot topic-ish before we? I'm telling you guys. Every time you say "I'm telling you," it lasts longer. But the week in wrestling is going to be quick.
Yeah.
Because this is Ask Can Crushers.
We need to get to Ask Can Crushers. I will say nothing really crazy going on. No other hot topics I think need to be brought up.
All right. Well, then let's do this. Even quicker. Go to Collar and Elbow, buy some stuff, use our promo code Can Crushers. 1.
Done.
We have a WWE affiliate code. It's in the show notes. Sometimes you get a discount, sometimes you don't. But you help support us. Done. Where can you listen, though, Jenks?
Spotify, Apple, all of the podcasting networks that are out there, including those, but also including Podurama, where you can listen to us seamlessly through all of your devices. Sign up now, lifetime membership, 50% off, only at Podurama.com.
Done. You can find us on Facebook, X, Threads, and Instagram. Join the conversations, join the posts, do all that cool stuff. You missed out on sending any questions in for Ask Can Crushers, but next quarter we'll probably do another one, as we always do anyway. But you can send questions in all the time. We'll answer them periodically.
Yep.
At cancrusher69@gmail.com.
Or you could phone them in at 814-299-6687. 3 minutes in length. Not 14 messages.
Not that anybody did it for this Ask Can Crushers. Here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow. When we come back, we'll do a quick lightning round of This Week in Wrestling so we can get to the meat and potatoes of this show, Ask Can Crushers.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
This is the hardcore icon, Just Incredible, and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best Can Crushers Podcast. Well, that, my friends, is just incredible.
Welcome back, Can Crusher fans. Thank you for listening. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for always being here. We're getting to Ask Can Crushers next segment. Jenks, we're going to do a little bit, like I said, lightning round. Lightning round for us is probably 20 minutes, but, you know, let's see if we can beat it. No way in fuck we're gonna.
But we're gonna try.
But the explicits lasted until segment 2 at least.
Did they? Oh my god.
I didn't say it first.
I don't think I said it either. Holy fuck. We survived till segment 2. Good job.
Right?
Pat ourselves on the back. I'll take a swing to that.
I'll take a swing. Tink! Oh yeah. All right.
Warlock. Give it a couple months. It's got a little kick to it.
It ferments a little bit.
It ferments for sure. All right. Anyways.
Let's start with AEW because we kind of dabbled with WWE there at the beginning with the injuries and so on and so forth. I'm jumping right to it.
Do it.
What did you really think about the Joe and Hook match? Because you're on one side or the other in this match.
Yeah. I thought it was a good introduction for Hook to the title picture, even though I know he's not going to be back there for a very long time. I think it was nice to see him do something more than what he was. Punch above his weight class, if you will. So I'm taking it from that perspective of this is him punching above his weight class, checking himself and saying, okay, I'm not there yet. Let me readjust where my values are at. That's what I hope is happening after this. What do you think?
That's the perfect way that I looked at it, too. Listen, we thought, we knew, we suspected, whatever word you want to throw in there, Hook was not winning this. Okay? Yeah. Hook was not winning this. But some are saying that Hook's performance against Joe, and this is where I'll stir the pot, damaged Joe because of the kick out on one of the muscle buster or this or that. Listen, these are essentially callbacks on Joe's matches. And I'll throw this out there. A lot of people might not know, but I've seen it in Pittsburgh. Joe against Raymond Rowe, who is Eric.
Yeah.
Viking
Raiders.
Yeah, whatever.
Viking Exchange.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. They did that in IWC. Yeah. And Sensual Muscle Buster kicked out. It made Raymond. Now, what is he?
He's Eric.
What's his name? Eric.
Oh, it's Eric, yeah. Eric and Ivar, yeah.
Yeah, Eric. Listen, he was amazing prior to the Joe match. Look up his old stuff. Look up his ROH stuff. Yeah. But it was boom. So he's doing the same thing. This match wasn't for Joe. Mm-hmm. This match, Joe was winning no matter what. So throw that out the window. This was to put some respect and put some, holy fuck, Hook is actually, because this is Mark, I liked everything Hook did. I liked that he had a battle and just get the shit beat out of him. And as a wrestling fan that knows how wrestling works, just like you, Jenks, you understand it. And I'm like, oh, now I see what they're doing. Like right now, I think Hook is fucking dominant. I know he lost, but next week when he just throttles Bob Smith, he took something from this match. You put that, air quotes, chip on his shoulder. He already had one, but I understand. People thought he was just arrogant. Now he has that going towards him.
Yes. I will even counter. This is going to sound like I'm agreeing with the other people that are like, oh, we shouldn't have kicked out of one. I'm going to add to this, too, because there's a layer of storytelling here with this kick out at 1. Joe hit it, Joe got cocky, and slowly got to the pin. It was a good 6, 7 seconds till he got on that pin. Joe covers him, kicks out at 1. Of course he's going to kick out at 1. That's the logical thing to do. If you hit your finisher, it should only keep your opponent down for a certain amount of time. And you should be right on them to pin them. Like, that's the logic. And Joe didn't do that because Joe got fucking cocky. Joe was cocky throughout this entire match.
Whole match.
And there was point in times that it caught up with him. That's why I think we're talking about how this helped Hook so much. This is foreshadowing Joe's losing this title very quickly because he's too cocky, he's too in his head. He's going to get caught by a Hangman or by a Swerve, who seem to be the two really circling around this title. He's going to get caught by one of them at Revolution, and he's going to drop this title.
Yeah.
Joe is the chaser, the beast and chaser that comes for people. He's not the champion beast, the champion monster, if you will. He caught MJF because everything caught up to MJF in that match.
Life
caught up to MJF on that night at World's End. Now, Joe's the mark man. Joe's getting cocky in these matches. Everybody's got to step up. Everybody's got to produce their resume for the champion. Somebody's going to slap the champion right upside his face someday and pin him. That's how Joe's lost to so many people before in title matches and that.
Another thing that came out to stick and stay with this is, wouldn't it have made Hook, and this one is, if you think about wrestling and the storytelling in wrestling, you're like, come on. Wouldn't it have made Hook look stronger? Jesus, rhyming all of a sudden. If he kicked out at the last possible second. No. That's called desperation then.
Yeah.
That's told to you every match after a Rainmaker clothesline is hit, and he kicks out at 2.99, or a super kick at 2.99, or something like that. That's desperation. Kicking out at 1 is all the words: passion, strength, desire, blah, 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 all those. Regurgitate all those in your mind. You know what I'm talking about. That shows more.
Yeah.
So as much as I don't know if I say this was a great match. It was a great, and I probably think one of Hook's best matches, even though he got his ass kicked.
Yeah. It really was, because it showcased Hook on a higher level. And again, he was shooting above his weight class, and he just lost. It just was what it was. He's not experienced enough to beat a guy like Joe, a veteran like Joe. I think this was a perfectly great match for Hook. To your point, it's not a 5-star classic, but it doesn't need to be. It didn't have to be. What it had to be was a stepping stone match to get Hook to the next level. Hook's allowed to take these losses like this. Like the Jack Perry one was a surprise one. It was meant to further your storyline. Okay, great. This one is a loss by Hook to somebody that is the actual world champion that's classes above him right now. It gives Hook the benchmark to say, if I want to beat Joe, I have to consistently get better. Look for Hook to start facing a lot more world champions or main event players here in the near future. Because I'm going to be honest with you, he's going to get a couple cracks at world champions fall, but he's going to get closer and closer at that time, and at some point he's going to cross that threshold. It's probably not going to be this year, but it's going to be definitely in the future coming up.
Well, that's where we'll probably disagree.
Okay.
I'd say by end of the year, Hook is sniffing TNT and or Orange Cassidy's.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I'm saying actual world championships.
Oh, okay. I thought you were grouping them all together, because
no,
I think, listen, this FTW title, as the prop that it is, yada yada yada, it doesn't do anything for anybody.
Right.
It really doesn't. It's it's less recognized, and I hate to say this if Taz is listening, it's less recognized than the 24/7 championship, for the love of God.
Well, AEW even claims it's not a recognized AEW title.
It's a fan taking their title to the ring.
Exactly.
Nobody, when Taz had it in ECW, he made it, but when the reincarnation of it came over, nobody cared. But I think, he starts sniffing some of those mid-level essential titles, and I think by the end of the year, he may have one. This was him to say, hey, him and Orange, or if Orange has it much longer, or whatever, or him and whoever the TNT champion is after Switch Luchasaurus gets it, or whatever the hell his name is.
Kill Switch.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
You were going to say Switchblade. I knew what you were going to say there.
We had a lot of conversation this past week on Can Crushers Wrestling Spotlight with Katrina Creed, how she, God, Katrina, I love you. How she has a fascination with Jay White. She had the chance to meet him when she was on ROH, but she kind of went the other way because, listen, we all mark out at a wrestler. Mm-hmm. That would have been the one she would have marked out at, and she didn't want to do it being on the TV show that same day.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Save it for another time, date and time, type thing. Yeah.
I also enjoyed the House of Black and FTR Danny match.
Yeah, that was really good, and I suspected it to be.
Oh.
I mean,
look at the workhorses in the match.
Just look at all of them, but so good. So good. But why is Daddy Magic still hanging around? I thought this was done.
After talking with Katrina, get ready.
Oh boy.
I have so much respect for Daddy Magic now.
I don't, that's fine. I mean, I don't hate Daddy Magic. I just want to, but that's fine. I don't hate Daddy Magic. I never did. I know you did not. You were not a fan, but I just wanted. Are we gonna have a custody battle between FTR and Daddy Magic for Garcia here?
Yes, we are. we really are. What else do you want to talk about AEW? Oh, I know. Good. But I have one. If you don't mention it, I have one.
Well, I gotta give the women props. Tony Storm cutting promos off of Luther's shoulders and throwing shoes. They threw shoes back and forth at each other. Also telling Deonna she's going to kick her in the butt, essentially. Although people thought she said box. That's a whole other conversation we're not going down. But it was a hilarious back and forth. I'm really looking forward to this encounter at Revolution when it happens, because that's going to be a phenomenal match. But I'm looking forward to the 6 weeks before Revolution when these two are just chirping back and forth at each other, because it's going to be fun as hell. So.
Agreed. And when Deonna, everybody knows Deonna, but once she gets, not that she's not comfortable, and I know I'm backpedaling on everything I said right there, but once maybe AEW fans get her and she starts ripping into her promos, Deonna's great on the mic.
Yeah. I mean, she's been holding her own the couple times that she's had the mic, so she's on the right pace. It's getting settled into the new environment. Really owning the space. She'll get there pretty quickly, too.
Dad moment of the week, because I have two, but I've actually looked at my notes. I definitely want to make this one a priority if I wouldn't get to the other one. Dad moment of the week on Wednesday night when Briscoe came out and announced everything that went on with the family, and we had that the vignette, essentially, of his brother again, and it comes back, and his niece walks out that wasn't, I just got the chills again, that wasn't supposed to walk again.
Yeah.
Man, if you don't tell me you didn't have tears in your eyes, you are not a human being.
Oh, I cried. I had tears in my eyes when she walked out and everything. It was such a beautiful sight. Watching the family at ringside see it happen and cry along, and it was just so beautiful.
It really was. It really was. The last one I want to bring up real quick, Matthew and Nicholas. Fucking buy me a Young Buck shirt.
With that on it? Oh, 100%. And I've never seen somebody piss Renee off so much in an interview. Matthew and Nicholas, where have they been? I feel like they should have been here since the beginning.
The douchery is so good. And I don't know if anybody caught on to who they were talking about, but please, you're a blind squirrel if you didn't understand that whole thing was directed at Phil.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Mr. Brooks was in the crosshairs of that whole thing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That was a work of art. This is going to be a work of art leading up to this match, but that was an absolute work of art.
Last week we shit on this match. I still am not excited for the match, but for the next, what are we, 8 weeks away, essentially?
6 weeks, yeah, 6 weeks.
6 weeks away.
Yeah.
I don't care if there is a match. I just want Matthew and Nicholas to berate Sting so bad for the next 6 weeks.
Matthew and Nicholas have really made me believe it. They are so much better than I think a lot of people really actually recognize telling a story. And I'm not even talking about like the FTR stuff. They can make it and turn it on a hat. They are such good storytellers in their matches, in their interviews, and that. When you listen, okay, this is douchebaggery to the level, 100th level.
More than me.
This is more than they've ever shown in their lifetime, let alone what they're doing. This is just utter douchebaggery. But it's makes you hate them so much more that if Sting were to beat them, okay, great, he rides off in the sunset. But could you imagine if they beat Sting?
God, please, dear God, make this happen. I know what you're going to say.
The level of horseshit that's going to come out of their mouths as soon as it's over. I would even pay to see what they do to Darby after that for the next 6 months, because Darby is not escaping. If they win, Darby is fucked for 6 months, at least a year at that point.
Please. Please. I will go buy the Young Bucks book. I will buy a shirt. And everybody knows this, and listen to this for a while. It has taken me a while to really jump on the Young Bucks. I'm that guy. They might make the sleeve. I just might put Matthew and Nicholas on my just names. They're like, what are they, your boyfriends? Yes, they are.
What's amazing about this is we've always talked great about their opponents and never put the light on their name. We got to do it now. Especially even if this match is halfway decent, we're gonna end up putting more on their names because hell, they have just stepped up big time.
Yeah, they really have. Before you go, I have one more.
Do it.
Are we finally getting a unification of something that should have happened probably a long time ago? Because 2 6-man championships in one company is too much.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Bang Bang Scissor Gang's about to have a big blow up here. I'm happy, first of all, that they took it off of Mogul Embassy.
Yes, me too. Maybe the Gates and Agony can be a good tag team
again. Please, let's do it. Let's get them actually running rampant on people. The way they talked up Bishop Khan during this match was phenomenal. Like they lit up about him, which is what they should be doing. But okay, now we're down to it. This Bang Bang Scissor Gang, 6-man titles, unify them, whatever they have to do. This isn't going to last long. This is not an actual teaming up of these 6 guys. Maybe it lasts for about a week because they have to face the Kingdom or something like that. But it's going to eventually blow up, and they're going to basically unify the 6-man tag titles, which is what needs to happen.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
It really does.
To your point, they don't need 2 sets of 6-man tag titles.
No. Do you have anything in AEW?
Let me check here. No, I think I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good with it.
Okay. All right. Let's transition then. Let's go to WWE. We have to first talk about one thing that happened not in a ring on WWE. Waller and LA Knight. It was in Perth, right?
Yeah, they were advertising for the Perth trip. They go after the talk show hosts, and talk show hosts come after them, and then it's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Like, Waller was ready to beat ass because of the F word, and not fuck, but like fake or prescripted, came out on this interview, and that grinds some people's gears, as Peter Griffin would say.
Yeah. You know what really grinds my gears? That was exactly it. And he's from Australia, correct? Yeah. Grayson's from Australia. This is his home country. And when people disrespect it, people go off the handle. Now, LA Knight.
He sat there like a bump on a log.
He sat there like a bump on the log, but he was playing. It was essentially a good cop, bad cop scenario where what else could he have said?
Right.
As LA Knight, because you had Waller just going off the wall, through the wall, doubling up a wall at these guys. LA Knight just has to sit there and be like, okay, well, he said it. Waller's got it. I'm just going to be the guy that's here and say, yeah. That was about it. Yeah. But
I'm looking at SmackDown last week, and it was okay.
Austin Theory thankfully only had a concussion based off of what I heard prior to recording for you guys. So that was a scary spot.
It really was.
That move itself is a very tricky move to hit, and I'm talking from an uneducated wrestling fan on the couch. It's scary to hit, and I don't know what happened there, but thankfully he's only concussed. That's all the extent of the injury at that point, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, because his neck bent inside out.
Neck bent inside out, head right on the mat. It looked nasty as hell.
Are you more excited that Logan and KO are talking on the Jumbotron, or are you thinking, maybe this isn't going to be what we thought it was going to be?
I'm holding out hope. Because I think once the face-to-face happens, which for you guys that watched last night, as you're listening today, it did happen, I think that helps spur the conversation in the right, or the direction of it in the right direction.
Yeah.
That direction a lot there. So I think they're in a better place with it there.
Without predicting a Royal Rumble winner, Bayley Io?
That seems to be the path right now, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, Damage Control, it's literally 4-on-1 right now.
Yeah.
You could see the gap between them.
They didn't.
Bayley is the ugly.
One of them didn't even want to be. You know how I love Kyrie. I do. She was less engaged in this match. And I know that's what she was probably supposed to do, but she looked like she was annoyed that she was actually booked on SmackDown.
I agreed. They all look like, why the fuck are we out here? Why would we do this? The cherry on top of that was when Bianca was out there, not one of them touched her. Not one of them, they said, this is for ugly stepsister to hold and fight with, and that's it.
And Dakota's explanation of why was like me and you talking about brain surgery. Nothing against Dakota, because that's kind of in the story. She didn't know what to say, yada, yada, yada. But Bailey bought everything. So let's talk about neutrons and in our brain. We'd be like, what the fuck is going on? What is she talking about?
Yeah.
And Bailey's like, oh, yeah, sure, I understand. I do love this story.
I love this story too, but it also makes me feel bad for Bailey because obviously it's not clicking, and we're sitting back and we're like, oh my God, girl, you're being manipulated. Fucking pull your head out of your ass and see the writing on the wall, because it's going to come quickly. Whether it's next week in the Rumble, it's on Perth, it's wherever, the writing's on the wall. And Bailey's going to get got, and it's going to be not Hugger Bailey, but there's going to be a lot of sympathy for Bailey to win at WrestleMania.
Oh, I hope so. Because we love Bailey. We do. We love Damage Control. And we really love Dakota running Damage Control going forward. But a shot in the ass for Bailey, once again, to be, not that she's not notable, but you get some flowers that she deserves.
Yeah. Get your flowers.
Yep. Would be awesome. I have one more thing to bitch about on SmackDown, then we can run to Raw, which Raw, okay. We have Judgment Day, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we have the Final Testament. Man, they dropped the ball.
Nope, I'm balling. Did you see the promo on Twitter this week, on X?
Nope.
I'm going to need you to go watch it.
Not right now. I will.
Yeah. In this I don't know if this was on SmackDown. I can't remember if it was on SmackDown, but it was on Twitter yesterday. Fucking out of nowhere, this priest is on here talking to him. Don't make the same mistakes I did. And I'm looking at this motherfucker, and I'm like, who is this motherfucker? And then it clicked. It was fucking Kevin Sullivan. And then we start playing Kevin Sullivan's hits throughout this whole fucking thing. And he's like, do not make the same mistakes I made. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. For 2-minute promo, you need to watch this video. I will. It sold me.
I promise.
It sold me on this group.
I don't mind the group. I don't like the name is what I'm bitching about.
You can bitch about the name all you want, but I'm all in on the Final Testament, the group, everything. Because they found Kevin Sullivan somewhere and pulled him into this thing.
I'm in for that. And maybe this clears up Dungeon of Doom then for him, right?
Hopefully it will. They didn't reference it in the video, but they showed a lot of stuff.
Reference it.
Yeah, right.
I'm just making reference, like, to me, Judgment Day is however you want to construe it.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Judgment Day is, you're meeting wherever you're going after death.
Yeah.
So, boom. I put that in my mind. I know that's not what they're doing in wrestling, but fuck. My grandmother and my mother raised me.
You're Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm stuck in this. It's stuck in my head. So Judgment Day. Essentially, the Final Testament is, to me, the same name. I'm like, the Final Testament is the same thing as fucking Judgment Day. It just, everybody knows I'm a little slow on catching on to things and or liking things. It took me forever to like Acclaimed, yada, yada, yada. But I love the group. I love the makeup of the group. And if they're goddamn adding Kevin Sullivan to it, that's ready to go. I just don't like the name. That's all. I'll come around maybe, but give me a minute.
Well, I get it. And let's temper how excited I got for Kevin Sullivan popping up in this promo video. But what I will say for this is, Karrion Kross still has to prove a lot to all of us that this is going to carry. That he's going to carry this group through as the leader, or whatever they're doing with Paul Ellering and maybe Kevin Sullivan. We need to see that Karrion Kross is going to be that leader, the leader of men. AOP, if they're just bashing people's heads in, they win. They're done. Right. They don't need to do anything else. That's what they were supposed to be doing before they got cute and fancy with Drake Maverick and had people shit in their pants and all that stuff during their matches. If they do that, great. It's Karrion Kross. This is Karrion Kross's baby. He's got the tools. He's getting legends to jump in here and to support him and push him forward. Triple H is giving him the people and chess pieces to push him forward and give him what he needs. If this flounders in 3 to 6 months,
Karrion Kross is on the Indies.
Exactly. Karrion Kross is done.
I get it.
Oh.
All right, Raw. Okay.
Yeah.
Number one thing is R-Truth is fucking marketing genius.
Listen, man, handing out dough in parking lots, fucking selling bootleg T-shirts. And I love the personal addition of him to the AI-generated thing and then walking back 20 feet from Judgment Day when they came out. Perfect.
Yeah. This is the best thing on Raw.
It's the best thing in WWE right now. I'll argue it's one of the best things of wrestling going on right now.
It really is. It really is unbelievable. I'm glad Cody listens to Colin Ray and yada, yada, yada. We referenced Cody and Drew earlier. So, listen, we have more time next week to we're going to really blow through WWE Raw now. We have more time for that next week.
Yeah.
I've just caught on, by the way, to stick with R-Truth. Tom and Nick I know it was always Dominic, but split it and it's,
Yeah.
Where's Tom and Nick? Oh, it's Dom. Well,
are you getting a Tom and Nick T-shirt? Because
R-Truth,
they're out there.
Yeah, unbelievably anything. The main gist of everything, because Seth and Jinder was the Ripley and Becky thing then on Raw, just meeting face to face and just really referencing.
It's the tease. It's there by hook or by crook, because now there's probably 2 women that could win this Rumble right now. And, well, let's be honest, Becky's looking like one of them.
Right.
So tease the potential that we all thought was going to happen for several months leading into this. And that's what they're doing here.
But they kind of gave away, though, between the 2 people that we thought were noteworthy, and again, predictions next week, of winning the Rumble, of Becky and Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives away who is winning it. Because if the breakdown doesn't happen until in the Rumble or a couple days later, that's when Bayley has to win Perth.
Yeah.
Because that extends that story. Or do you have Bayley win and then she doesn't challenge Io yet because she's not kicked out yet, right?
Right.
So there's essentially the piece of the wedge. Becky wins, she's like, I'm trusting myself, yada, yada, yada. Maybe she loses to Nia at Perth again in a match, just to have a match, because she's doubting herself, is where I'm going.
She's doubting herself. I think with Bayley, even if she wins, you play the storyline of, I'm still a bad guy, so I don't want to face Mommy and her how dominant she's been. But I also don't want to face my friend. So there's a lot of waffling back and forth. And then I think they make the decision for her. Now that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is, you're right. This is straight up just call a spade. Becky wins this. We wrap it up in a nice bow. We settle that debate. And then we figure out in Perth who's going after SmackDown. I think they could go either or here. They could. And it really, or, maybe because she's posting workout videos all of a sudden, Charlotte's going to be back in 3 weeks and pull a John Cena.
Right.
Because 2 weeks after knee surgery, she's on a treadmill, she's pushing weights, she's doing everything. She's practically 08 John Cena at this point, fucking running through things. So let's throw that in there as well.
Again, we're essentially 4 months away. Roundabout.
Yeah, roundabout. We're about 4. You're right. We're about 4 months away.
Can she? And this is yes, it's a pun. Can she limp through a match with Jade?
I don't know, but I'll also play it on the flip side. Maybe the knee injury wasn't as severe as they thought it. They said it was,
And make a big
return during the Rumble or whatever. Sets up everything. Excuse me, and then it comes back, and then she's good with Jade. Personally, you're doing a lot more than what I think you should be doing if it was that serious of an injury.
And you're making a surgery
for it. That's a lot of great progress if it's real progress. She did have surgery.
Right.
But maybe it was a knee scope, or maybe it was a torn MCL or something like that, which we've been told is 4 to 6 weeks recovery. Grace hoping to Seth. It's one of those things where let's throw her in there and see it's a possibility.
It is. It is. I'm done with WWE. You have anything?
No, I'm good on WWE. Yep, we're good.
3-way match for the tag titles at some point. DIY, Judgment Day, Awesome Truth. We all know who we want to win. We'll talk more about that probably next week or down the line.
Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Awesome Truth don't hold it long, but I didn't make a prediction. We come back. It is what you've been asking for. It's Ask Can Crushers.
Hey everyone, this is Shelby Waters. You're listening to Can Crushers. Come hang out with us and let's have some fun.
Welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. It's time.
Look at
Can
the
Crushers
taco.
time. I know, that was impressive. What I pulled, not that impressive, but it worked.
It worked. It was awesome. There's a little more pep in my step. Listen, 3 beers will do it, but I like when we really don't have to do homework. Like, we watched all the shows this week, and we kind of speed rocketed. It was not 25, it was 35, but that's really good for us. That really is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. For the wraparound.
We did a good job that time. It will not happen next week. We will go probably 4 hours next week.
This is us not doing homework. Again, a lot came in. Everything came in except Jenks's, we'll reference his in a little bit. That was from last week. We'll come back around to it. Everything came in on email. I don't know. Listen, guys. Do you want, and I'm being nice, do you want the phone number or not? There's times that there was, get a phone number so we would hear a voice on da-da-da-da. You know, it was awesome for a while. Everybody brought them, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. I digress. It's Mark being an ass again. But
just saying, maybe
you guys love them on DMs and through emails. So cool.
Hey, any way we can get them, let's take them. But I will say maybe they just like listening to our voices versus each other's. Who knows?
You said the same thing on Crushes, so
I did. I'm saying
clearly getting ready to believe you now.
Well, I would hope so. I'm defending these Can Crushers, our loyal fans. So I'm ready for these.
This is what I forgot to tell you last week, actually. Remember how I said, hey, there's a new store coming, yada, yada, yada?
Yeah.
Our logo got denied because it looks like too much of a wrestling company's logo. By the company that I was working with, they will not take our logo because it looks too much a la, and they didn't say these companies, but AEW or WWE's logo that they don't know if I do own it or not. That was me? No, I'm dead serious. So now I have to try something else. Like, we got denied from the company because it looks too much like a legit wrestling logo. Dude, fucking search it up, company. Everything is tagged to me. The artist has given me the rights. Shout out to Jack Pollock. I love you, IWC Jack Pollock. But the rights are mine. But they will not accept it because it looks too much like a essentially WWE logo. Now you know we're big time. Now you know that we're big time because we can't even
We can't get things passed because it's too close.
Trust me, I'll find another company who will make money off of us. But I digress. It's time. It's time.
Oh, it's time.
I can breathe a little bit now. All right. First question. I think I have about 15. I don't know. I didn't count them. I just copy and pasted a lot during work today. I mean, never mind. Not during work. At a different time. Hey, guys. Love the show. I've been listening to a while now. Don't be grammar police, Mark. Hey, guys. Love the show. I've been listening for a while now. Wonder if you guys ever did all-time favorite themes. I love EOS right now. Thanks. Ashley, Clayton, Delaware. I couldn't tell you where Clayton, Delaware is in my life. So, Ashley, thank you. You don't have to look it, please.
I'm going to look it up. Thank you, Clayton, Delaware. We got this. I'm going to guess, without looking, before I look, it's in the middle of the state. Let's see how right I am.
I don't know if I could tell you a city in Delaware. I'm in Dover, Delaware. Is it by Dover? Is Dover in Delaware?
Yeah. Do you want to just keep going on that one? It's down the road. You know what? It's a little middle north of Delaware, but yeah, Dover, I believe, is the capital of Delaware. Is that correct?
No. I know Toronto loves us, and Collins Bluff, is that where it is?
So does Council Bluffs.
Council Bluff.
But also,
those people are not going to be on the top 5 next year. They're going to hate me.
Guys, I love you. Just don't lose sight. Just remember one of the hosts knows where you guys are. But yeah, Clayton, okay. Clayton, Delaware.
So I essentially want to know if we ever did like favorite themes of all times and current or anything like this. I love EOS right now is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this should be, we'll give you an answer. But I think we should, past rendition, I know I've done something like this, but so much has changed. I think we do a special like this, that we bring 10.
Yeah.
And we do this. But as of right now, I'm not going to list them in order, but I'll give you want to go 3 apiece of theme songs that we've really liked?
I can pull 3.
Something to us?
I could pull 3 right off the top of my head, yeah. Go for it.
Want to go back and forth? And they're not in any particular order.
No particular order, but if you want to go first.
Get ready for the hate. I am a real American. I'm going to go some emotional, some that I like to sing with.
Yeah.
I am a real American. Listen, as a childhood, that song came on, that was wrestling to me. I would rip a shirt that I have on. I would get my ass beat from my mother or my father. Yada, yada, yada. It is just, listen, go back and listen to the Hulk Hogan stuff. We shit on him. We consistently do. He's never coming on the podcast. He won't. But that was wrestling to me. That was something, and it resonates in my mind. I can never take that away. So I am a real American. It's one that I will always like.
You know, I knew that one was coming just from going to bars with you and witnessing shirts come off, ripped off at that point. There's long stories behind those.
Pants come off, too.
That's what happens when people have $3 pictures and don't control themselves. But anyways, my number 1, I'll go childhood 2. It's the glass shattering. It's stone cold. Because once you hear that shatter, everything changes. You're fucking locked into the screen at that point. You don't know what's going to happen. All you know is there's going to be chaos, or he's just going to come out and stun some motherfucker and leave. The amount of times I see just clips of him walking in, stunning Regal while he's reading Shakespeare and walking right back out, or coming out yelling at Stephanie McMahon because Triple H hit JR the other week, and now he's coming out magnificent. The glass shatter was defined my childhood because I grew up in the Attitude Era. I know there's a lot probably better theme songs, but that Glass Shatter is so iconic in that it's just light years ahead of anything that was going on at the time. In anything currently, to be honest, but that's the story we're going to do with that.
Yeah. Way to ruin it.
Which one of the three I have on here is from recent times, so, whatever. But
my other one's an old one as well. And Simplicity, to me, does a lot. And it is one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Manager you can take however you want. But in rendition to somebody now, it's a Midnight Express. Just the no words. That. It's because I was a Midnight Express fan, and I like that. And sometimes you don't need. And don't get me wrong, I love the Glass Shattering too, and I love Just Smell what the Rock is cooking and singing alongs and stuff like that. But sometimes just that little bit prior to screaming or whatever is going on of like Rhea Ripley, you don't need that.
Yeah,
they just need whatever they want to come out. The Midnight Express, and I know there's probably when we do this list, I'll have the real name for it because it's on YouTube that you can find it. It was just so simple that, FTR uses it right now, and we go crazy when essentially the FDR uses it. So I like it.
There's two I want to use here because they play off of what you just said. I'm going to go, though, I'll go tag team out. I'm going to go what you were talking about with the, I'm going to go, What a Rush. When you hear Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, I think they were Legion of Doom with that one. When you hear that, you knew it was just going to be a brawl at that point. Like, it was straight up, they were coming out, face painted, fucking spiked shoulder pads. It was an iconic look, and honestly, to wear the haircuts that they wore, you had to be some fucking tough motherfuckers to just walk out there and do that. But that was always fun tag team wrestling. Like, I just loved watching LOD walk out and take on anybody across the board, whether it was early 90s where they were bouncing in WWF to coming back and facing the Godwins in the late 90s and the Outlaws and that. They were fantastic. I always loved them as a tag team, and that one always sticks in my head as that really just iconic thing of, oh my God, here we go again. And it was just great. It was just a great theme song with what they did with it. And it was kind of simplistic in nature too. Once they got past that What a Rush, it was just that guitar riff right through it, a little bit of drums, nothing too crazy on it.
And I reference like sing along just because I do like Judas, but it's not on the list for today. Would it be on my top 10 for sing alongs? I don't know. I have to go, and it is a good one. It's iconic. Listen to Gong, the one gong, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's the easy way out, Mark." It's the Undertaker's. Like you just knew because, I don't have to explain it. So you just knew.
I'm gonna go newer one, but the song's not newer. You can kind of sing along with it. I do. Man, I really love Jane for Orange Cassidy. That fucking song. First of all, it's a banger in its own right.
Yeah,
but
the song
second,
itself.
It perfectly encapsulated Orange Cassidy. Him just walking out, that a very nonchalant way he walks out. But man, that song is just certified banger. It's so good. It's too good, and it works so well for Orange. So I gotta give the props to that one off the top of the head.
So you remember in the Legion tournament this year, I had all these like wrestling songs during games to play, and everybody's like, "You're a wrestling fan?" Like, you know. Because everybody is not a wrestling.
Not, yeah.
They're like, well, you played Jane, you played Carry On, Wayward Son,
And
Cody's song was on there, which, whatever, I just played all these wrestling songs randomly at a baseball tournament, and people caught on. They're like, we understand you like wrestling and you're the director of entertainment right now. We get it. Can you switch it up in between games? No, because I don't have time to make a different playlist. Listen to it and shut up.
yeah. It's not like you were picking like bad songs either from wrestling history.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
calm down, people.
So, Ashley, kudos to you for asking that. Kudos to you because you've just given us a special now.
Great job.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back.
And now I know where Clayton, Delaware is. And the capital.
Yeah. Good job.
Next one. Congratulations on all the accomplishments. Love Crushies. Oh, love the Crushies. I'm an idiot. I can't read them. This is why I love Ask Cat Crushers too, because I'm responsible for all these stupid questions. You guys didn't chat much about mid-card titles lately. Coming out of Rumble, where do you see Mania matches for the IC or US title? Kirk from Kansas. I know where Kansas is.
Sure about that?
I do.
All right. Thank you, Kirk, for that question. Do you mind if I go?
Well, you go first. I went first last time. That's how this works. It always works.
That's fair. Don't need to get sassy. No, I'm just kidding. But I've had this thought in my head pretty much all day, seeing the Okada news. He's around. He's the perfect candidate to take an Intercontinental title off of Gunther at WrestleMania. I'm just saying. He doesn't have to go down to NXT. He can train there if they want to put him there for a little bit. But really, he's just there to just fine-tune his skills for the WWE audience, and they plop him in there. Not saying he's coming to WWE, but that would be a hell of a plan for WrestleMania to put Gunther against Okada. Done. You don't even need to fucking make a program around that. That's just straight up great. It establishes him as a star. Gunther loses nothing. If he loses the title, it's fantastic. If I talk realistic expectations, though, because I don't think Okada's probably going to end up in WWE, it's tough with both titles, I think. Because I think Gunther's, you're playing the game of, are we booking him to lose the title so he can pursue a World Heavyweight Championship?
Yes. I'm answering that right now. Yes.
You can. Does it happen at WrestleMania, though?
No.
It's $1 million question. Exactly. So to me, I don't know if it happens at Mania, so do you force feed him an opponent where it could happen, can't happen, maybe could, you just have to give him somebody to deal with? I don't know if there's a clear-cut challenger out there for Gunther. When I talk U.S. title, well, U.S. title's got to get off Logan Paul somehow. Somehow, some way. So if it's not KO at the Rumble, I don't really know who it would be at Mania, though. Do you? Who do you got?
Well, I want to stick and stay with the IC title because I completely agree with the Okada thing. If he does make the transition and he goes to WWE, listen, there's references made, however you want to call them, with the clotheslines, that there may have been talks, Rainmaker, Gunther. If it's not Okada, I think there is a 95-man match being set up. Gunther does not take the loss. And I'm not saying 95-man, but you know what I'm saying. Like a four-way of Bronson or da-da-da-da. I think it's Bronson. I honestly do think it is going to be Bronson that will be the next IC champion. Then you can play with it for a while. Listen, I think, remember In Your Houses where it changed hand all the time at In Your House? I think the IC title starts fluctuating a little bit this year. We're not going to get a long run. We're going to have changes for a while because as wrestling fans, we're gnats and we like changes. It stirs the pot. And I'm not saying it's stale, but we've said it's stale that he has the title because he's outgrown it and the title's not doing anything for him. So it builds some of your youngers essentially just having, he's a 75-time IC champion, yada, yada, yada. So that is where I think it's going. U.S. Championship, if KO is not the one that beats Logan Paul, I think you're getting Logan Paul, LA Knight. As much as Mark loves LA Knight, you get Logan Paul, LA Knight. LA Knight has done a lot for the WWE. Listen, I'm giving him his flowers. I'm not a fan. But then it keeps the fans that do like him, satisfied that he at least has something for being the hottest commodity for a while.
I get that. I
don't like it.
It just seems like they're building up AJ and LA Knight for Mania, though. Like, it does. I don't think they blow off at Perth in a chamber at 5 a.m. in the morning. I think it's at Mania. This is their long-term storybooking with these two fighting over the title, da-da-da-da-da. They're going to be crossing paths. They're going to cross paths in the chamber probably. Somehow maybe that gives away the finish or the finish of Mania a little bit there, but I feel like they're going to be in the chamber match, and then they both cost each other somehow, and this is a whole WrestleMania match program built around these two fighting each other. So I feel like he's busy. I mean, the only other option maybe for Logan, and I don't know if he's available or not, maybe it's Sami Zayn. KO's the final stop, and Sammy's the last person.
Too.
He does deserve his flowers, too. Deserves his singles flowers. He did a hell of a job with the tag titles with Kevin Owens. Maybe they run into, maybe Sami Zayn's the one to take it off of Logan Paul. Maybe Logan disrespects Kevin a lot, and during the whole match, da-da-da-da-da, Sami feels obligated to kind of step up.
Yeah. It would put a nice little bow on it then.
Yeah, it would.
All right, Kirk from Kansas, thank you for that one. Jenks, they're already bringing great questions. Here's the next one, all right?
Yep.
Hi, guys. I absolutely love the show. Thank you for the personal touch into the crazy business. Again, grammar, please. Keep up the great work. My question is, with the influx of talent in TNA right now,
okay.
With the TNA right now, do you feel they will solidify being a number 3 brand and possibly compete with AEW? Anthony from Lubbock, Texas. I know where Lubbock is. So he wants to know, I think they're already. I'm going to cut this off. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. You're going to probably say 3, right? I think they're a solid 3.
They're a solid 3. I mean,
there's no competition from NWA or nothing.
NWA.
And yeah, they're really far behind, even with the CW deal. So I think let's get that out of the bag first. Yeah, they're the solid 3. Where do you sit with them? He said AEW, and I think that's a perspective thing. Is it AEW, WWE? What's your product range? But do you think they're closing a gap?
I do.
Okay.
I do think they're closing a gap, but I think it is because of marketing, because of going back to the TNA brand. Impact did what it needed to when it had to because legal ramifications, yada, 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 back in the day. But what Scott D'Amore has done to get this TNA brand back now, and I think it means more to the likes of Nick Namath.
Yeah.
Dana Brooke. By the way, I hate Ash by Elegance. Can she not be like Ash, whatever, Diamond or what? Something? I don't like the by Elegance.
Yeah, it's weird. It makes her out to be a perfume brand more than an actual wrestler.
Like she sells Avon, right?
Yeah, and like at Avon, next week she's coming out, Skin So Soft is going to be a part of her name.
Yes.
Purchase Act by Elegance, Skin So Soft.
Right. We'll maybe talk more about that down the line.
Yeah.
But do you think that they can compete with AEW? I will say one thing that I've been beating this horse for a long time. Get off Access, and I think they could. Or whatever, it is called Access, right? When I think of Access now, I feel like Access TV, like me and you could be on. But,
yeah. your community channels.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Well, let me take that back. Get off of Access, we'll talk. I do think it's too early in the game right now for their rebranding, for them to be close to competing with AEW. What I will say is I agree with all of Mark's points about what Scott D'Amore has done in bringing back the TNA name, reinventing the titles, getting the titles a fresh look.
By the way, they look fucking amazing.
They look fucking great.
I'm not getting back into belt collecting with the two that I have, but if I would, I might buy some of those prior to buying some maybe like WWE ones.
They have some really good belts that just came out. So props to them for the belt designs and all that. I think what we have to keep in mind is all right, let's see where this goes. They're a little early in the process. Let's see where it goes. B, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars is hard to compete with.
I agree.
And if you don't have that money in the bank, it's a little bit tough to kind of get yourself in a position. Now, that doesn't mean they can't be scrappy. That doesn't mean they can't do what they did in the late 2000s where they were getting close to WWE levels and they were going to be a legitimate threat. But now it's going to be, we're going to bring that back down. It's now, okay, let's level set the playing field. Don't get too big for your britches. Play your field. You're solid through right now. We know we want to be 2. Maybe we want to be 1 at some point. 1's really far out there. But if we're aiming for 2, let's play our game. Let's do our business first. I think to your point, they've done great things by getting the nickname by getting Ash by Elegance, getting some WWE people in there. They have a lot of great talent already here. Ospreay has done some special spots before he's going to AEW. So they have a perfect ball rolling forward for them. Establish it. Keep it moving. Keep things going. Moose is the champion for right now. Probably not too long. Probably Nick's going to get it at some point. But keep the ball rolling. Just keep the momentum going at this point and cook. That's the biggest thing. You have to cook for 6-12 months. Yeah. Then we can start saying, hey, I think you're in a good place to say, maybe they're giving AEW a run for their money. Maybe they're not. We'll have to see.
I will say this, though. We've seen Naomi, Trinity, there, stirring the pot, doing things. Listen, she's on her way out. We've seen Ospreay work there. Did some stuff. It seems like they need to possibly get longer contracts. Like if Nick is only there for 6-7 months, what's the next big thing? You can't live off of big things, though, either. Because everybody's talking TNA right now. Everybody's talking TNA right now. And I completely support it because good for them and everybody's doing everything. But you have to come out of this whole WWE mentality a little bit, too, that you have to build some of your youngers to say when that younger beats a Nick for the title, oh, they are playing the game now, compared to your hot shot and the free agents that you can sign for only a little bit. I don't know how long Nick has signed. I didn't dial into that. But it's cool. It's a great splash in the pan right now. They are number 3. Who wrote? Anthony wrote this. They are a number 3 right now, far and beyond. 2, we'll talk. Again, like Jenks said, let's look 6-7 months down the line to see where they are. Maybe Nick does possibly get them a deal because he's a big name there. Or, moving forward, if they do a co-op with NWA or they do a co-op with New Japan or something like that, then you're getting globally compared to less than, and I know I always knock it, less than 50% of America even.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. Can I throw a question in?
You can throw whatever you want.
I'll throw a question in here.
Not drunk, but Christ, these beers are kicking our asses tonight.
For some reason, I'm burping a lot. I'm sorry, guys. Bless me on that.
Earlier today.
Along the lines of companies, do we ever consider ROH a separate brand?
I can't right now.
I can't either because they obviously interchange a lot, but I see a path forward for that because they're doing a lot of good things right now, and I may end up buying the Honor Club because of it. It's really, first of all, I'm a Dalton Castle fan, you all know this, but this whole mental breakdown thing he's having is just fantastic. And the fact that he did it on Thursday night with a piece of cheese and Johnny doing parkour across the arena was fantastic. But they're doing things with Nyla and Athena, which was fantastic. A lot of these things that they're starting to do and produce is making it start to feel like a more independent brand. Yes, there's a lot of crossover. Yes, you're seeing Claudio's, you're seeing your Brian Keiths, you're seeing a lot of that. But I think it's also starting to get a very, very separate kind of branding as well. If it's not now, does it become one? I don't know.
That's my thing. Listen, I think ROH needed the Bryan Danielsons, the Claudios, the Eddie Kingstons, the crossover.
Right.
That's now, it's a brand again at least. I'll give you that. Okay? To get to possibly fighting with TNA for number 4, listen, because we're leaving NWA off of this right now. We really are. To fight 3 and 4, fight that out with TNA, I mean. We have to have the separation.
Yeah.
Because right now it is,
Eddie's the champion.
It's SmackDown versus Raw.
Right.
When you get the whole ROH against AEW people, or there's too much crossover.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to have either, we talked about earlier, the mingling of the 6-man championships, okay, if you're going to be that company that works together all the time, that's probably the best thing you should do for those titles. If not, you need to separate and divide. You can only watch Eddie on ROH. You can only watch the Moguls or the Bang Bang Gang. And I know you'll see a big switch then. You won't see Jay White as much. And that might hurt our AEW. But you still don't have a full roster, I don't think, for ROH.
I would agree, but I also think that they do a lot of independent contracts where they could fill out the roster. Like Brian Keith, for all intents and purposes, seems to be signed with AEW, but it seems like it's a per night or per something. It's not an actual, like a full term 5-year deal.
He's going into the TNT title next week or anything. Yeah.
Exactly. I wish he would be. I wish they would sign him for a long-term deal, but they haven't done that yet. So I think they could get the talent in place for ROH to be its own thing, but I think they're also afraid to because it's not going to sell Honor Club things. That's why you're seeing Claudio versus Brian Keith on there. That's why you're seeing Eddie hold on to the title as part of the Triple Crown. I think at some point they have to start stripping away and say, hey, if ROH is going to be their pseudo-development brand, It's like the clear cut that it's going to be that. I just think there's so much talented individuals still down there that have come over from the old ROH to where they are now, and the new talent and the new blood that's come in. It can be a solid 4 that competes with the 3. I think if they were to do that, that's the competition right there. I just don't see them getting to AEW that closely, but I think it's with ROH and TNA at that point, if they can make that transition.
You brought up developmental, so let's stick and stay there because it just ran through my head. WWE has NXT, okay?
Yep.
AEW has ROH, essentially.
Right.
This one's going to blow everybody's mind. TNA, I don't know if you guys know, has OVW still.
True.
So, and they're building themselves up. What if it's just the developmental number 1? It's NXT, ROH, it's OVW, because all of them are linked to said other companies. That's not a bad battle to have within itself.
I'll challenge that, though. Is OVW in that place, or is TNA in that place? No. But here's where, hold on. I think that's more a TNA battle than it is an OVW battle. And I think that's TNA is more recognized on the level of NXT and ROH versus AEW. That sucks and that's sad, but at the same time, it's the smaller audiences. It's true. It's the access that you have to the product. To your point about Access TV, if more people, if it's on Fox Sports 1 or on a Spike TV, people have access to that. People can pick it up. People can say, oh, TNA, I can watch this Thursday nights at 8.
Yeah, Friends isn't on anymore.
Exactly. But if it's only accessible to Access TV, like NXT is only available on the Peacock, on the cock, if you will, and then you have ROH only available on Honor Club. Only a select number of people get that. They're debating whether to get it or not. I love wrestling, but I'm also like, I don't know if I want to buy this for this. Listen, I love the Dalton Castle sticks, but I can catch those on highlights on some sort of different avenue.
2 days later.
Yeah, exactly.
Spade a spade.
Well, exactly. I will also say, I think TNA is also putting their product out on YouTube. We talked about this before. It's behind a paywall, but I only think it's like $1 or something like that. It's not that expensive. But I think TNA is just not big enough to make that jump to make the fight with AEW right now. And it's going to take a long time. If this was fucking 05 to 2010, 2009, we're having a whole different conversation. It's right there at WWE. It was clipping at WWE's heels, and it would be on pace with that.
Because it was the alternative.
It was the alternative. They had the big names. They had Hall, Nash, Angle, whether they were past their prime. Angle was Perk Angle at that point, so he was flying all over the place doing crazy shit. They had a bit. Had young AJ. They had it all. And they were clicking on all cylinders. They had Joe. They had everything under the sun. It was one of a kind. And it was something to compete with WWE, and it's what we wanted. They just don't have that yet. They're just not there.
We're on the same path. We really are. So, Anthony from Lubbock. Awesome. Great question. Do you want to ask yours that you hinted around last week?
Yeah, I like this one. It's wrestling and college football together. Because I want to get your perspective on this. You ready for this?
By the way, I forgot to watch those movies this week. That's going to be in the midst of making Vince Berry a commercial, power washing, and anything else I have to do tomorrow. So go ahead.
If you had to pick a wrestling figure to take over as a head coach at Alabama, who would it be?
Wow. I love this question.
I do too.
So like an action figure? Or like, do you mean
Like an actual, like it could be a manager, could be a wrestler, could be anything under the sun. I'm going to start. I'll give you time to think about this and process. I was thinking about this all during the week, but I really like what this person's doing right now in WWE as an executive. Nick Aldis, man, is like a blatant one just out there. I think he'd be a fantastic head coach at Bama. I mean, he's more of an executive, but he's making very keen decisions. He's got a little bit of Nick Saban in him. Seems a little bit like, I don't care what you think you are, who you think you are. This is how we're running my game plan and how we're directing our ship. That's where I think of. I'm thinking Nick Aldis for that one, for my guess on that.
Mine is then reincarnating somebody. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Just because the X's and O's, the family that he developed and everything like this. I was trying to actually think of a wrestler when you said this, but Aldis and Heenan would probably be like the same thing.
That's true. Level. Do you want to think of wrestlers for this?
Want to take it to one more level then? You want to, it's because we essentially have executives or
executive manager, yeah. So wrestler.
To me, it would need to be somebody technical then. Somebody that knows the X and the O's. Somebody that, I mean, I'm not throwing, listen, Captain Lou Albano popped in my head because he 16-time manager, world champions, because I love him once you said manager. But then, now I'm just looking at it as an X's and O's guy, somebody that's technical. So let me throw you mine first.
You do it.
The excellence of execution, Bret Hart.
I like that.
His name.
Best there is, best there was, the best there ever will be. I'd go with his rival. I would go Stone Cold. And here's why. Along your points, Stone Cold knows the X's and O's. He knows the technical parts of the business. He also knows how to be a showman, knows how to entertain, and he's hard-nosed as fuck. He would run those motherfuckers through a wall for him by the end of the day. He may give them beers at the end of the day, but whatever. They'd go through walls for him. So
as long as it's NIL approved.
Well, anything's NIL approved at this point, right? So I like Bret Hart. You're speaking to my heart with Bret Hart, but I mean, I gotta go Stone Cold if I'm gonna go. I mean, man was in a movie about football. Longest Yard is just.
Yeah.
He may have shit himself in that movie, but that was a good one.
Where did you find that? You really came up with that?
I did see it on Twitter, and I'm like, that's too good of a question. It was perfect timing because I'm like, that's a fucking great question.
It's an unbelievable question, but yes. All right, let's move on back to the fans. Hi, guys. New listener here. Well, welcome aboard. Glenn from Utah. I had to read his name before. I really enjoy the show, and I like the spotlights and how they're produced. It's really exciting hearing wrestlers from all over. Keep up the great... Aw, thank you. I'm going to ask you a question I recently heard on a spotlight. Why did you get into professional wrestling? We've had this before, but Glenn's new.
Yeah.
And we probably won't answer it verbatim as we did. We'll probably throw a little bit on it. But, Glenn, this is an awesome question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So did you go first? Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I went first. Yeah, technically. Whatever. I got into professional wrestling because it was something that my dad introduced me to very early on in my life. You know, it was on TV. We both enjoyed it. He enjoyed the early stuff. He also kept bringing me tapes home of WCW, WWF, whatever was on, whatever pay-per-views it was on. There was some sort of illegal recording of that broadcast that was brought home.
We condone it.
We don't condone any of that, but there was some sort of form of that. I still have my Survivor Series 94 tapes and my Slamboree 94 tapes and Halloween Havoc and all that stuff. They're fantastic. But that's really where it started. My grandfather was an antiques dealer, and why I say that is because he had a lot of those remember those big, thick rubber guys from the 80s where it was junkyard.
They're called LJNs.
I couldn't think of the name of it. I could not think of the name of it. Calm down. That's why I was saying that. But those guys, I'd have those. I'd have the thumb wrestlers, so I'd have Big John Studd and Junkyard Dog on my thumbs playing all the time. But it was really a family thing. The family had them. They had the action figures. They had everything. So that's kind of where my love for it started. And then it just took off, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then in college, I just had nothing better to do with my life besides school. And so I just watched wrestling all the time. And that was my life at that point.
Mine kind of echoes that. Mine goes with my grandfather. We always go and spend summers at my grandma and grandpa's house, and Saturday morning, Saturday nights, Saturday was his day off. So we'd watch wrestling, and I didn't know what the hell was going on I'm talking young child. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but he loved it. He told me stories of Bruno, and he told me about Rick and Harley and this, that, and the other. So that was our time. So that's how I found it as a young guy. And then I continued to watch it. Through, like, elementary school, I would do polls to girls that they had no idea what the hell was going on. I asked people, do you like the Rock and Roll Express or the Minute Rockers better? And the girls had no clue. I fixed the pool. The Rock and Roll Express won, the better tag team. And then I met some of my friends that, listen, we text every day of something of this or that, of something stupid. It's just been engulfed in my aura, essentially. As a wrestling fan does, I paused wrestling for a while because, I don't know, I discovered other sports or this, that, or the other. And this guy that is my host right now, when we were working for the Seawolves, we kind of got on wrestling randomly one time, I think. And then we converted The Office. And then we were trying to get Miz to throw out the first pitch. And then CM Punk did the pipe bomb. And then that engulfed the rest of the season of wrestling. And then start this podcast. And I live wrestling. So that's my fandom. To spin it the other way, why I got into wrestling? Because I'm a fucking mark and I love myself. Yeah. And I'm not being a dick. Me going out announcing or me going out to do commissioner stuff here in the near future, I'm also a nerd drama guy. Like, I like being an asshole. I like being, if it's for 15 seconds out of the day, the center of attention. I do like, and I'm being honest with everybody right now. I do like the spotlight a little bit. I do. And it's fun because spin it where we spin it, because it is what it is, it takes you out of reality. I could be having the worst day of my life. I know I'm going to a wrestling show to be an announcer or whatever, and it's a 3-hour drive. I might stew for 3 hours. You walk through that curtain, you're a different person. You're a Mark the Mark then. And it's just really cool. It clears your head. It does so much for you. I've been asked this, not recently, but if I had to give up something, baseball or wrestling, Jenks, I think you know what I'd give up. Yeah. And I live and die baseball. From April till the end of October, more or less November anymore. It's 365, 24/7. It's wrestling. It's just, if you're in the business, a fan of the business, whatever of the business, once wrestling, that story part of wrestling gets in your blood, truly is a sickness. Good or bad, but it's unbelievable what a wrestling family, and I consider Can Crusher Nation, yourself, all a family. listen, you guys listen all the time, and it's crazy. It really is. From the start of the podcast till now to the next 500 episodes, that you keep coming back to hear us. You have a sickness. It's awesome. It's wrestling.
It's in your blood. I mean, once you catch that storyline or that story, you can't get out of it because you have to see it through to the end. It's like old ladies in their soap operas. Once you see and hear the storyline, you're like, oh fuck, I gotta know how this ends. I gotta know what MJF's fucking doing now. Now I'm hooked for 20 years because I don't know what MJF is fucking. That's it right now. You know what I mean? And it was the same with Bret Hart and Stone Cold, and it was like, mind's blown. It's open. What are they going to do next? And then you get attached to a new superstar, and then you're like, oh my God, this guy's fantastic. And then there's another one, and it's like, and now we're laughing at our truth, who's an ageless wonder running through the things. I just pop every time I see him on screen or somebody makes a stupid comment or something like that. I pop, I laugh. It just brings me back to being a kid, worried free and all that. I think I remember the one moment, I don't know if it's the one moment, but it definitely I remember having a conversation with people about it when we were at the Seawolves. And it was the same time Edge retired. When Edge retired, there was people like, oh my God, did you hear Edge retired? We started all coming out of the woodwork, and we're like, wait a minute now.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Wait. We're all coming out. So then we started talking about that. And then later that summer, Punk is dropping a pipe bomb. And during that summer, there's 3 weeks of people ripping their shirts in half because they're singing Hulkamania. And it's like, we bonded over wrestling because of that, just based on the people that were involved in that thing. And I think that's what rejuvenated it for a lot. I was watching it in college. That was before the Seawolves. Seawolves reinvigorated it because it was like, oh my God, there's others like me. And then we had Cody Hetrick, him and I were neck and neck talking about it for a long period of time. I brought my Moochie, who has plagued this podcast with his ramblings for 13 nonsense and whatnot, but to the fun of it, I got him back involved back in 2016. I was only over there. We were going to do quick work out and whatnot. His wife hadn't come home from her dance class yet. So he's like, oh, let me put on wrestling. You know who came back that night? Shane McMahon. You know who's
By the way, Jenks, if I've never said this on a podcast, and this isn't a lie, does the best Shane McMahon impersonation.
I did at one point in my life. It was fantastic. It was great. I could do the dance, guys. But he was involved. We ended up, much to his wife's chagrin, he ended up hosting that WrestleMania at his house. And I made Steve Weiser cans. We came over. He watched the Hell in a Cell match. We watched it all. I think for us, we fell in love with it because of parents or somebody showing it to us. As it progressed, it became a singular passion, a sole passion for that one individual. But then we found people that love it and love to dive into it and love to share it. So then that reinvigorated, I keep burping, excuse me, that reinvigorated what it was saying, what our heart, see, that ruined the whole thing, but it reinvigorated that passion for us. And now we want to show it to other people and hope that they fall in love with it or they like it. I mean, Kimberly's seen it a couple times. She was questioning what she was seeing when she saw Penta on screen at one point. She was trying to get her grasp around AEW. Bless her soul. She's going to have to figure it out at some point. But we thrive on that. And I think that's as wrestling fans in general. When you find that group or your friends or even two talking heads that just fell in love with the business and love to talk back and forth with it, it's home. It's like one of those home things.
the day, and we'll move on, Glenn, this was an amazing question. Thank you. Amazing question. The day that Macho Man passed, it was a day game for this. I remember this blatantly. It was a day game. I think it was what is the students come with the
Student day, yeah.
We got word Macho Man passed. And I had a nook. It wasn't even a hole in the wall for my office. It was a nook. 3 people, just tears in emotion that Pete Rose, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron could have played that day at Jarriette Park.
Yeah.
I stopped doing show notes. You stopped doing your stuff. Jesse stopped doing stuff. And I'm like, we sat there and we just like looked at each other. We're like,
no.
And he had not wrestled in 10 years.
Yeah.
We're like, oh man, Macho Man passed away. And then we just, memories of Macho Man. Yeah, yes. So once you find it, you find it. It's people that are engulfed in Batman, people are engulfed in the Marvels and stuff like that. It's that same thing, but to find it, I think it is somebody that really knows. Like, it seems it always comes from somebody in a family. Like mine was grandfather, yours was dad. Listen to the spotlights. They're always like, oh, because I always make it a joke. Was it mom, dad, Aunt Sally, Uncle Joe, And they're like, oh, it actually was Aunt Sally. And I'm like, that's really cool. I love hearing those stories. So, Glenn, you're leading the pack right now in Ask Can Crusher questions because it always gets emotional and I love it. You did reference this because, look, and I'll show Jenks. There's Glenn's question, okay? The next question has somebody that you referenced in it.
No way.
With MJF not around AEW right now, when do you feel, with MJF no around AEW right now, do you feel this is when he is working out a long-term contract, or does he pull a Mox and show up in WWE? What more does he have to do in AEW? He had the championship for a year. Your buddy Dylan. So Dylan sent in questions before, because I remember Dylan's name.
Yeah.
Not that there's only one Dylan in the world, by the way. But he put your buddy, so he's our buddy, right?
Yeah, right.
So essentially, is this a work? Is MJF out the door? Does he show up? Rumbles next week. Do we hear that music? Does he pull it? Because the Mox was the same thing. Hey, I'm stepping away from wrestling for health right now.
Yeah.
I'll be back. The following week, he was back on AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I know where you're going because I'm going to say the same thing. We've beaten.
We've said this. From what we've heard, he signed the contract last year at some point. I would love to be sitting watching the Rumble and him roll the fuck out. Because then it doesn't matter if Seth's injured. You could
throw your main events away.
Throw away. Put MJF and Punk, whatever you want to do, just go for it. Because people have seen it. Well, those outside the bubble of WWE have seen it. I think it's pretty much confirmed he's signed whatever.
Which
they're just not, yeah. But because he's very injured and all of that stuff, why release that? You know, why say that? It just happened to be perfect timing of it. We're just waiting. It's a waiting game right now. And we're waiting for probably a good 9 to 12 months for MJF to show back up.
Nothing more, nothing less. I know, Dylan, you're like, what I want Mark's take. It's essentially the same take. I think it's just, I will go apeshit crazy. I will make a post next week of me rewinding it. Well, you can't rewind Peacock, so you have to wait till I watch it again. And MJF comes out so I can record myself going nuts, kind of, sort of again. I would love it. I honestly would. To see what he would do on a different product.
Yeah.
But I don't feel I think it's true. There's way too much as a wrestling fan. He doesn't have everything wrapped up in AEW. AEW fans would go apeshit crazy. Like, he's got 8 storylines that aren't even halfway through.
Well, let me ask you this. Was that not the case with Ric Flair when he left?
Well, yeah, I know. Right.
And then you walk away. Well, Flair was a year. But, like, MJF walks away for 3, comes back after 3. They're going to accept him with open arms.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say this. He has a lot. Yes, he has storylines to figure out and finish in AEW. But I think he also has the allure. There's a lot of things that he could do in AEW along with what he has to finish up. But when you're talking to WWE, there's a lot of good programs there. And there's already one built in. I really think if he were to walk that line and cross that line, it's against Punk. They started it with Punk. And with Seth being injured,
it's a no-brainer.
It's easy as pie at that point.
Great question, buddy. Dylan. Next one up. Hi, guys. I've been sampling a ton of different podcasts, and notice you have a different guest each week. I'm really not a wrestling fan. All right, wait a minute. Where's this going?
That's cool.
Real quick. But as a podcast, to have different guests each week, it must be hard. This must be a technical question. Do you mind telling me how you pull it off and the scheduling that is involved? This is definitely a technical question.
Yeah.
I want to start a podcast that deals with racing and formula cars. What's your formula that really works? Patrick from Loxley, Alabama. Loxley? Is that Loxley? Loxley? Alabama. So, technical question.
I'm going to defer to Mark because Mark is the ringmaster of this whole operation.
Cool. Kudos, Patrick, if you are listening. Maybe I should write back to you. Listen, I told you I copy and paste these in my notes. I don't read them. Maybe I'll find your email. But if you are listening this week, this is awesome. Do I mind telling you the formula and everything? Sometimes it's hunt and peck if I really need a guest, and I always have some that I know that I can reach out at any time. Not to gloat, though. A lot of people reach out to us. It is, hey, I'd love to do a spotlight. So-and-so told me about it. Can we set up a date? Yes, that's awesome. It's marketing. It's networking. And on the same aspect, if you go back to early beginnings of Can Crushers, it was a year or so before I had a guest because call a spade, and I'm going to be a dick. They're not coming on if you're getting 3 to 4 listens. You know, they want to be able to have their story told or whatever they're promoting heard by more than mom, dad, and Aunt Sally.
Right.
You know, and that sounds really mean, but it's the truth of podcasting. There's a million podcasts out there. We struggled for years. So the formula, there are some people that I notice that are doing stuff here and there, and I will reach out. I'm like, hey, this is Mark, Can Crushers. I'll send them a little bit of something so they know, send them our website so they can check us out. Never peer pressure. If they leave us red, okay, cool, they read us. Maybe they'll wrap back around. I don't bother them. As for this part of the show, listen, if you've listened to a couple of Saturday shows, they are shit shows. We don't plan anything.
No, we don't. No. We figure it out as we go on Saturday.
It really is. It's what comes. It's what is hot for Jenks. It's what's hot for us. If we don't feel anything hot, that's when you get a lot of what happened in matches. We'll break down matches and say, I didn't like this match. But if there's talking points, and if you're looking at like racing and formula racing and stuff like that, those are kind of seasons. Wrestling is 365.
Yep.
I don't know. if you're looking at now, my head's just spinning like a dirt tracks, and if he's in Alabama or something, then it'd probably race more than Pennsylvania. Just saying.
A little bit more. Probably a little bit more.
But listen, Patrick, I will reach out to you via email. But yeah, any other questions you have, really shoot them this way. It's cool. It is really in scheduling for guests. There's times I've woken up at 3:00 in the morning to talk to somebody in Australia, or there's times I'm recording really late at night when I should be going to bed because my 3:00 in the morning to get up to go to work, it's crazy. It is bend, not break, essentially.
Yeah. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. Well, Mark's blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. And just to get things, to make it happen, to make the work around it happen. Mark is the unsung hero of this podcast, let's be honest. But that was a great question. I do appreciate Patrick's question. Also, if you're wondering where Loxley, Alabama is, it's near the Gulf of Mexico. It's
just warm down there all the time, probably.
It's just east of it.
Okay, cool. Patrick, honestly, I will. If you're listening and you're like, "Why the hell did you do my question?" I'll send you an email this week. Not anytime soon, but I'll get there. Next question. What up, Can Crushers? And it's all in capitals, by the way. So I know he's screaming it. I hear you guys each and every week talk good and bad about wrestling, which I do the same. If you were to book a company, how would you run it? A tight ship like NWA, that was my own fault, like WWE, or open door policy like AEW? Where do you feel the best overall bang for your buck is?
All right. The easy answer is down the middle, right? But
I would say that option, though. Sean from Norfolk, by the way.
Thank you, Sean. I truly believe you have to be able to be flexible with the company. So in my mind, it's, you can have a script or you can have AKA talking points, whatever you want to do. But I think you have to let the people be the people. Let them embody the character, because I think that's where you get the most out of it. We love AEW because of the wrestling aspect, but also because they let them free flow in nature. But I think there needs to be some structure like WWE. The situation that comes to mind is Punk. Everything Punk did with AEW, he was left to his own devices. He was able to do his own thing. He wasn't left unchecked. He was unchecked. He needs to be in some sort of checking situation where we don't have to resort to a Nicholas and Matthew coming out and being characters on television.
Right.
That's why I say it's easy to say in the middle, but what I would say is this. Wrestlers, I think, are best when they are left to their own devices and can be as creative as possible. I think Triple H is giving them the option this time around to do what they want in the ring, let them be what they want to be. Old regime, not so much. There's a lot of micromanaging going on, at least from a fan's perspective. So to me, I think it's just you have to find that happy place where you know the individual and you can say, they can carry promo, just tell them to say X, Y, and Z and be done with it. Or that person's not really good at that. Let's get a couple writers on him. Let's script this out, make him remember these lines, and then we'll be good. It's understanding who you're working with and the talent you have in your back pocket.
I echo all of that. I would say lean more. If you're looking at it as a business, lean more towards WWE.
Yeah.
But if you're going to call them independent contractors, because we've all heard this for years now, let them be. Like, there's times, I'm sure, and I'm going to throw this one out there, I don't know, but let's just pretend New Japan called Vince and said, man, I'd really love Seth over here against X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Why isn't that money on both ends then? Like, I think WWE has to lighten up. I think AEW has to tighten up. Not saying with the wrestlers, because then I'll go AEW like, will you hear me, bitch? Communications major. Their fucking production sometimes is worse than an indie show.
It is not good.
And I'm not slamming indie shows, but there's just no money there.
Yeah.
There's money there in AEW. So the correct answer is right down the middle. But if you're going to hold me at gunpoint, I'll go WWE.
Right.
I really will.
No, that's fair. Well, and I think that the other part of that is WWE has been so successful in 50 years of being in business that it's like, well, they know what they're doing. But in essence, they've also lost a lot over those past couple of years, over a couple of decades, because they were too restrictive on what the talent could do. So I think this gives them the opportunity to be less restrictive on it. There is a Goldilocks zone, if you will, of where you sit. You can be restrictive to a point, but you have to be lenient to a point. And it's difficult. In all business realms, it's difficult. But at the end of the day, you have to find that Goldilocks zone so that you can operate in a perfect manner in terms of everybody's happy and everybody's producing a product that we want to see.
One thing, bar the wrestling part of it, and then we'll move on, Sean, real quick. I think when they took all social media away from WWE, essentially,
that was the overstep.
Horrible. That was horrible. And like Vega fought it and other people fought it. Listen, if you want the product, it's okay to have them doing their own video games, doing their own cooking, whatever on Twitch, because they reference the company they work for probably enough.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, if you found Selena Vega playing Fortnite, so to speak, who is this Selena Vega? You get a look at least once. Mm-hmm. And if they don't see Zelina on the show, maybe they see a la The Undertaker, and they're like, oh my God, what is this guy?
Well, think about it in terms of up, up, down, down. I mean, that, I believe, eclipsed 1 million viewers. I don't think they were all wrestling fans. It was a video game centric show. It got Xavier Woods a show on GTV or whatever the hell the video game network was for its short-lived rebirth. It's not all wrestling fans on that. It's video game fans, and still people watch that. They still watch Adam Cole be Chugs, and they still watch Tyler Breeze be whatever he's being. If you allow people to be themselves outside of work, it gives them a lot more freedom and a lot more respect for it, and a lot more of, okay, I can breathe now. I can do both.
Great question, Sean. I like that. Rolling through, I think we have a couple more. If you could eliminate any pay-per-view in history, what would it be? Heidi. And he doesn't want to tell you where to choose from. There's a lot. But if we're only dead set to one.
Okay, I got a clarifying question. Are we talking
there's no clarification.
Is there like a specific 1998 in your house, or is this like just a pay-per-view in general?
I took it as a specific pay-per-view. Like, if you, like...
Damn it, there's so many.
What pops into my head right now, and I can't even remember the name, it was so bad. I could go sentimental, but let me stick on my path of thinking real quick. The one where Dustin and Blacktop Bully, or whatever the hell, what was that, Road Wild, Hog Wild?
Oh, yeah, in the middle of Dayton, or whatever, they were on the back of the truck, right?
That whole pay-per-view was nothing but hot trash. That should be eliminated in life. Some of the bashes of beaches were rough. I mean, This is maybe, or listen, I'm spinning this. We now have best theme songs. I'm writing this down, by the way. On my new calendar that came in today.
I know. Thank God you got that new calendar, because this is a great fucking question.
Do we want to call it worst pay-per-views?
Worst pay-per-views.
Elimination pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Worst pay-per-views. All right. So there's a plethora of things that we could research and do this. But I can also spin this as because of something happened. Instantly, I would get rid of Over the Edge. And Owen would never pass.
Pass.
I know that's the heartfelt one because that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
There's other ones that David Arquette, early ages of this, was also on the show. Him winning the title. Really? But what did that do for wrestling? I don't know.
Set it back 50 years at that point.
Right. But
yeah.
An overall pay-per-view, because it's always in my head. When I want to laugh, when I want to just chuckle at the wrestling business of the dying WCW, it is that. Well, anything at Sturgis sucked too, by the way. Hog Wild.
Road Wild? Oh, yeah. Whatever the fuck that was. Yeah, that was brutal. During the match. During the fucking match. That's all they did was run the fucking engines. You couldn't hear anything.
But the one that Dustin had a fight in the back of a tractor trailer, to me, may not always be number one, but it's stuck in my head that it was fucking horrible.
I'll agree with that, but I also gotta say, I love that match because Bobby Heenan was just on shitting on Dayton, Ohio at that point in time. And that was the I love Bobby Heenan, but that was the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. He was just shitting on Dayton, Ohio as they drove through the back roads or whatever. There's so many, oh man, if I have to pick one.
Listen, you've just turned this into a special, by the way, Heidi.
You had to.
May not be our number ones.
I'm going to go December to Dismember was just abysmal. That was the one-off abysmal. It cost Paul Heyman his career for about 7 years. It didn't cost him it. He had basically given up at that point because he wanted to be fired. And it was just a shitty pay-per-view. Now, the chamber match itself had an interesting concept, have weapons in it, even though we shit on War Games having weapons in it every fucking time. But it was just horrid. We loved King of the Ring, but man, 95...
King of the Rings were bad.
95 was just you might as well just shit on a fucking stage and call that a show, because it was boring. Mabel won it. It wasn't good. It was not a good King of the Ring. So, I think those are two off the top of my head. But man, that is a fantastic question. I'd love to do 10 worst pay-per-view episodes.
Good thing they're doing our homework for us.
I know, right? God, guys are saving me a lot of thinking.
Heidi, that's a great question. Put a pin in it. We will be back to this. Okay, yearly question. As this was asked all the time. As of right now, who are the pillars in each company? Blake from Altoona. We haven't touched on this for a while. Or wrestling in general, he puts too. By the way, ... Let's do real talk. It's getting late. Jenks has shit to do in the morning.
Jenks is writing this down now because I'm getting this out. I'm barfing this out on my paper. So let's see what happens.
Let's do 4 in general right now.
Yeah.
We can come back. And I'm not skipping through Ask Can Crushers. There's 5 more questions.
We'll get there.
But we'll get there. How about wrestling in general? Because he gave us the option with the ...
I think it could get 4 for both companies if you want to do 4 for both companies.
All right. Yep. All right.
But I just gotta think this out here. So if you got some right now, we can go back and forth or whatever. But I'm kind of thinking it out on the fly.
Okay. So to stick and stay with what we said, MJF and AEW is 1.
Agreed. And that's number 1. That legitimately.
That's probably number
1.
1 in general.
Yeah. Agreed.
No matter where, if he shows up next week, that's number 1 in general.
100%. 100%.
Okay. You going to give me one since I said MJF and you just agreed?
Yeah. Are we sticking AEW? Sure. Or you want to go? Okay.
Let's go AEW then.
I'm going to go AEW. I'm going to give it. This might be controversial, but I'm giving Christian a pillar right now because at this point in time, I get this is usually about to be the younger guys. It should be who the 4 pillars are, who they're going to build the company on in the future. Christian has under his tutelage Killswitch, who's a little bit older in age, but still has a lot of years left on him. And the fucking prodigy, Buddy Wayne, or Nick Wayne, I almost said his father's name. Nick Wayne.
But that's okay.
Yeah, I know. Nick Wayne, who's only 18 years old. So he's teaching him how to get in, how to really set a foothold in the business. Christian is holding a lot of, sometimes AEW together in some of the things that he's doing and how he's running the company in that. I think Christian's just that one solidified pillar for them right now.
You know, I always wave a flag because I don't think they still get enough talk about. Mine's a champion as well.
Yeah.
Mine's a TBS champion.
Oh.
Mine's Julia Hart.
That's fair. That's fair. I believe that.
Some pillars have not been on TV for a year now. Some people injured. It's going to take some building up.
Mm-hmm.
Some are getting older in the tooth.
Yeah.
I think Julia Hart is somebody that even in time, she's a littler stature. And I think she'll always be a littler stature. We see that with Io. We see that with Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe 2-3 years, WWE comes knocking even for her. So I think
that. Well, to that point, WWE's got to replace Io and Kyrie. They're a little bit older in age, so the time Julia might be there. I agree with that. I'm going to take it a little bit step further. I'm going to go to the former TBS champion. I think Chris Statlander is one of their pillars at this point in time. She carried the TBS division last summer, and really the women's division, it was more solidified with her in it. And I think she is the goalpost right now. We've talked about her about to break through that upper echelon. She's right there. So I think Chris is really supporting this a lot.
Ready for Jaws to drop?
Maybe.
Orange Cassidy. And it's because he's a workhorse. Yeah. I fluctuated all last year on Orange, but I understand. And I am getting sick of the now title reign.
Yeah.
Again. But it is because it's Orange.
Yeah. No, that's fair. My fourth one, because this would be my fourth, because of MJF. It's swerving when I drive. It's Swerve. It's 100% Swerve right now. He is just in the position to take this thing forward.
I'm nodding over here, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going there. Yes.
Yeah. It has to be Swerve. Swerve is right now the hottest thing in AEW.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think WWE is going to be a little harder.
WWE is tough. But I got 4. Not confident in the 4, but I got 4 right now. So I'll start. You want me to start with WWE?
Yeah.
All right. They've built the story around him, so whether we want it or not, Cody is a pillar for WWE right now. Like, there's so many things circling around him and that flow through him and do things around him. I know I cheated with Christian before, but when you talk about pillars and we're supposed to be talking about younger, Cody Rhodes is going to be around for a long period of time. He's going to be the champion. Everything's flowing through him right now. It's tough if you remove Cody from programming, a lot of storylines start falling apart.
I wasn't going to say Cody, but
he may be later in his career, but you pull Cody out, things start really shifting badly for WWE.
He's got an injury, and I hate his song, and I hate that everybody sings with him. We've put him in AEW this year. But I think Seth has to get a nod.
I don't disagree with you.
But I mean, we're talking maybe a 6-month pillar. But he is your Raw right now.
He is Raw. I mean, yeah, he's your Raw right now. If it's only 6 months, it's only 6 months. And I think that's why they're also kind of not giving him a lot of storylines that bleed out from CM Punk right now, because they don't know what they're going to get with him.
Yeah. I'll go 2 real quick because I've made you go play.
Go 2.
As much as horrible title reign, the women's division is going to run through Rhea Ripley from here on out, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte passed that torch last year. Rhea maybe passed the torch in a couple years to somebody like Jade, or we didn't talk about poor Cora Jade going down. She's on the shelf for essentially a year now as well. Roxy Perez, somebody like that. We would have named Nikki Stratton maybe last year, but that fell off fast.
Yeah.
I have to say Ripley, though. I'm almost handcuffed because same thing with Becky, with Seth. There's a possibility. Bayley's a little bit older. Charlotte is part-time. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
She's part-time. So I'm not going to give it to a part-timer.
Right. Yeah. And to that point, because I agree, too, Bianca isn't the pillar. Not everything has to run through Bianca. Like, Rhea just feels like she is the woman, is the alpha female in WWE right now. Like, if you remove Rhea, there's a piece missing.
Yeah.
And, like, we could say that with Becky, but also Becky's getting to a point where her career where she could be removed. It's not that big of a piece.
Right.
But if you remove Rhea, Rhea's become bigger than the women's division itself.
Yeah.
My 4th, because we burned through my 3 so far, is I got to give the nod to Gunther, because he is definitely what they're building for the future of this company, at least in the next 5 to 6 years. I mean, he is on a 500-plus Intercontinental title reign. It's probably over 600 at this point. Day reign. He's dominant. He is basically the heir apparent to the world title when they want to make that switch. So he's right there. And honestly, he's doing so much with what the mid-card is right now, and plucking people and fighting with people and destroying people, but also having interactions and all that. Gunther's is a solidified pillar for WWE right now.
I love all of yours. and I'm waving the flag on Cody as well, so I kind of stole that one. My fourth may be like, what? Because I want some young blood in there. He's a hell of a talker. When he gets to work, he works. It might be Waller, too.
Yeah, Waller's getting there.
Slow build.
Mm-hmm.
When he came up, he didn't wrestle for months.
Yeah.
And people fucking hated him. Now he's wrestling, whatever's happening, whatever. And I understand, yeah, he went to Perth because he's from there. You could have sent anybody else.
Right.
You chose him for a reason. Yes, he's because he's from there. But he got it over.
Yeah.
Was what happened will work, a staged, whatever. I don't know. I think Waller's big to-dos.
Yeah, Waller's being set up to be that. Well, you don't start your career on SmackDown sitting across from AJ Styles.
Right.
Without it being something special.
Blake from Altoona, great question. Oh, wow, this one's long.
That's the Mark's reading ability.
Which is horrible right now. We're 4 beers in. Hey, guys, keep up the great work, and hopefully next year in American Town we'll be number one. You two will be signed to a huge company. I fucking love all of that. Yes. Shout out to Toronto, by the way. Great stories, a great back and forth, always. With the Royal Rumble next week, I have 2 questions. Well, you're probably going to get put until next week. Oh, what was the best Rumble in your opinion? Yeah. Secondly, in all the years, who do you feel dominated the Rumble like no other? Kyle from the Nation.
Of domination?
I thought he was going to say, hey, pick your winners. I was like, Kyle, you know how it works. Next week we'll do that. But what's the best Rumble in our opinion, and who is the most dominant ever in the Rumbles, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
I'll answer 2 first.
Okay.
To me, it's kind of pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think it's Kane. Like, he excelled. These were always his big moments. He threw. Did they mean anything? No, but I'm fucking spinning it how I want to. During the Rumble match itself, he was very dominant. He led that, and I know, whatever, yeah, we know he's being told to toss these people out.
All right.
But he always was made to look like the monster he is.
Yeah.
So mine's Kane.
I can't disagree with Kane. I mean, to your point, the monster he is, he's been a part of historical moments with the Rumble. I mean, Santino getting thrown out in a second. Kane's a trusted worker, and if I have to choose one, I completely agree with Kane. If I choose one outside of that, maybe Austin, just because every time he enters the tone shifts. Like you hear the glass shatter, everything changes for that match. Like 98, the whole thing was centered around the bounty on him. And then he comes out and comes from the crowd and starts beating shit at people, wins the match. 99, it was a fucking 1-2 him and Vince, and then it was the whole thing with that. He gets beat up in the bathroom, left there. It's always been centered around him somehow, some way, and when the glass shatters, everybody just stops in the match. Like with Kane, people still fight, but at the same time, he just comes in and whips people's asses, throws them out. I still laugh every time I see him hit Honky Tonk Man with the fucking guitar in the head, because it's fucking hilarious. But, yeah, I would agree with both of those with that. If I'm going best Rumble, it's always flip-flops for me between 2. 92 and 2001. Like, those are the 2 preeminent Royal Rumble matches. I think others have kind of eclipsed that. 07's ending was pretty good with Shawn and Taker, but those 2 are usually neck and neck, and it depends on the year where I go with that.
92 is always an easy answer for me.
Yeah.
It's just boom. It was like boom. Yeah.
in 92, it was for the title. You had Hogan, you had Flair, you had Sid, you had Piper, you could name the legends in that match. And it was perfectly drawn out how to get things and build up Bulldog and build up people throughout that match. 2001 established Kane really as that monster. Besides what he had done, he had gone through. That's when the record was set for the most eliminations. Kane was established. It reestablished The Undertaker and Kane as a brotherhood. It was a whole thing with that one. So, yeah.
Both great. Kyle, from the Nation of Domination. Great question. I referenced this way long ago because this one was DM to me. And you kind of have to read with DM when it comes. My question is, why isn't Nathaniel Cunningham getting more recognition on the show? He deserves more of the Bad Fellas, are the best tag team in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. We like Mark, not the other guy. This is why he doesn't get recognition on the show. One, he was the one that called in one time and said he was going to take me out. And now he doesn't like you. Moving along.
Hey, all I'll say to that is you would not be the first, and you certainly won't be the last. So,
bastard. Kick your ass at football tomorrow. Or today as we're talking. What's up, gentlemen? I don't know. If that's your question, no, it's not his question.
I just got insulted. That's what's up.
Yeah, right? Nathaniel Cunningham. Bum. We always like Johnny Bambino better. So who do you think are going to be a few... Oh, this is definitely next week's question. Who do you think is going to be a few surprises in the Rumble, new arrivals, NXT, legends? Chris from KC. Chris, great question. We'll answer it next week.
Yeah,
I hate to say that.
No, but we have to answer it next week. We love your question. It's just a week ahead of time. We do that during the Rumble.
Yeah.
A few surprises, who we think is going to win. It's all part of the... We need content for next week, so we got to do this next week.
We really do. It'll be a lot of WWE next week. I know you guys have... So that's Chris from KC, by the way. This is from Glenn from New Jersey. I know you guys have dabbled with a special here and there, but how about doing some top 10 lists? Well, you guys have just given us two of them.
You've right into it.
How about you guys doing some top 10 lists, both of your opinions? We would really like to hear top 10 eras, tag teams, overall, specialty matches, ... And then he ended with Glenn from New Jersey. Well, this is awesome. Again, it just proves I don't fucking read the questions. I would have put it on.
Better. Yeah.
I copy and paste them in my notes, and then that's when I read them. Glenn, we have two coming out of Just Ask Can Crushers itself.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a list, go back to October. We have one that was scariest gimmicks in WWE history and wrestling history at that point.
But I do like that he said tag teams, or eras.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift stuff?
Well, yeah, it's an Eras tour, right? That's what we can name that podcast, is Era Tour.
I do like eras a lot.
Yeah.
Because we can separate them from, like, the golden era of WWE compared to Crockett. So, eras I like a lot. Tag teams, clearly, we can do individuals and stuff like that if you guys really want those. Those are very, everything's very suspect. So I'll have Hillbilly Jim on mine, and Jenks will have, I don't know,
IRS at that point. Yeah. Shockmaster. We'll call back to last year at that point.
Oh, touche. I didn't even think of that. That's it. I want 1, 2, talk for a minute. Let me count.
Okay. Mark's got to do simple math here. So let's see if he's got it all. I think he's got this. Look at, he's so concentrating right now. I could be talking about wrestling, but I got to focus on this.
I have 13 that came through. Some might have came prior to deadline today. I apologize if I look in the emails running around for basketball when it wasn't scheduled, yada, yada, yada. I gave you guys a deadline. My deadline essentially moved to a completely different day without you telling me. But we got 13 in. Jenks threw one in there. We kind of spurred off of a couple on ourselves, so It's awesome. You know, from everybody that listens, we love these shows. We really do. If you guys would feed us these, and I say this after every Can Crushers, if you would feed us these each and every week, it would be great. If you want to feed us a couple, feed us more, whatever. We'll always answer questions. But we love doing the special where we run through wrestling for the week, we run through our lives for the week, and then spend the meat and potatoes doing a full show on this, because I wouldn't have thought of any of these. None.
No, absolutely not. It helps jog our minds, but it also gives us what the people want to hear. What do you guys want to hear us talk about? Vocalize, come out of our cockles in that regard. What do you want to hear us talk about? This has been fantastic. This is why I love Ask Can Crushers. It gives us those ideas. It gave us 2 show ideas at this point. So
Minimum
3. So there you go. So this is fantastic. I love you guys for this.
All right. Jenks has to move a house, a ship, and everything else in within 5 hours. So. What? Was that your ship horn?
No, it was supposed to be a woo, but it's going downhill pretty quick here.
In editing, as soon as I get done editing, I essentially will post this. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
You're a garbage can. I'm a garbage can not. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.